I think that
All
kid
right,
gets too frustrated and just leaves.
yeah, I think that's what happened. Okay, we're live. Hello tonight, everybody. I am Ty Johnston. This is another 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons session for the Unnamed Adventurers Guild. If you would like to join the guild, you can look us up on Facebook under Unnamed Adventurers Guild. And tonight we've got 3 other players here. It's not impossible we'll have more, but I'm going to guess this is going to be it. But I'm going to do something a little different tonight. Instead of character introductions and everybody meeting at the guild hall and blah, 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 and spending the first hour of the session going through the same old thing that we do every session, I'm going to skip all that. We're going to jump right into it, pretty much. And if you want to, when it gets around to your character, you can give a little introduction of them. At least their name or something like that, though I'm sure it'll come up. But long story short, the guild has been hired because someone has been something has been sabotaging logging wagons to the west of Illumina. They're cutting down trees in an area roughly 3 to 5 days west of Illumina in the forest. They're cutting, I say 3 to 5 days because they're cutting down trees in different parts of the forest. Some are further away, some are a little closer. And then the logging wagons usually go from that part of the forest once they've got their trees. They either come to Illumina or they go down to Redgill, depending on whether or not the wood is staying local or if it's going to be shipped off somewhere. But for about the last month, there have been multiple sabotage attempts. There have been some small fires set, animals set loose, some wagons damaged, even some wagons stolen. No one has been killed. Well, stolen, but recovered later. Nothing has really been like stolen permanently. No one has been killed or even hurt for that matter. But several of the local logging companies, for lack of better words, have pooled their resources and have hired the guild. And the guild, Pincus has sent out. You 3 folks showed up, so were available, and they sent the 3 of you out. The pay is 100 gold pieces per person, if successful. If not successful, you don't get jack. There is a 10% fee that is supposed to go to the guild, so technically you'd only be getting 90 gold each, because 10 gold would have to go from each of you would have to go to the guild. But they do say, but the logging interests do say, hey, if you come upon some other money or treasure, or if you stop the people who do this and they've got some stuff you want, you're more than welcome to it. We're not going to make a claim to it. So they are sending out 5 wagons, empty wagons from Illumina. It will take them about 4 days to get to where they're supposed to go, following the road that heads west, north of Redgill a good little ways. And you 3 have basically been hired sort of as guards, but also to find out what's going on. So I'm just going to jump to it. And you 3 guys there, you're on the road. You're maybe a day outside of Illumina heading west. I'll say it's afternoon now. You've been in the wagons for the day since that morning when you got on them. And I mean, you can ride other horses or walk along the side of the wagons if you want. The wagons aren't going that fast. Each wagon, there's 5 wagons total. Each wagon has 2 people on it, the driver and usually one other person that's sort of a backup driver, a guard, and a watchman. So it's you 3 plus 10 other guys. They're not carrying anything because these wagons are empty. They're going to pick up wood and bring it back to Illumina. So it's the afternoon. It's going to be dark in a few hours. What do you guys want to do?
Well, first, I guess we should figure out, is there any other shipments heading out tonight?
There are not. These are the only ones. For the time being, they have suspended the wagons coming and going other than these 5. So there's none others leaving or coming. I mean, on the road, you will see other wagons, but not logging wagons. Just, your travelers and farmers and things like that. In fact, the road's pretty busy. There's quite a few people on the road.
Okay.
So you're definitely not alone.
Is there a guard post where all the people can filter in?
There is, leaving the city. There is a guard area but they're not really, unless they saw something like truly outlandish, like an ogre trying to walk into the city. The guards aren't even really paying all that much attention, unless like some kind of fight broke out or they saw something really weird. If they saw some magic, they might go to,
Okay. Well, any of the people that are coming in, would any of them seem like they're a little bit more competent than the normal, farmers and stuff like that? They're coming in.
No, pretty much what you're seeing is just sort of your typical everyday, some folks, mostly people going into Illumina to sell wares or sell their farm goods or whatever. You're not seeing anybody, you're definitely not seeing like any knights or even really any other fighters or anything like that. You don't even really see a lot of weapons because these are common people. I mean, you might see a pitchfork or something like that, or, a knife or a dagger, but you're not seeing armor and weapons and things out on the road.
Okay, well, I'll go talk to a farmer.
Okay, he's heading into it's him. He's older, not real old, but like probably in his 50s. He's got a woman about the same age next to him, huddled up, holding a baby in her arms. They seem kind of old to be having a baby, maybe. And he's driving a wagon with a couple of oxen on the front of it, so they're going slow. And whatever's in the back is covered by some kind of tarp, so you can't, without like going up to investigate or untying the tarp and looking or something.
Well,
what he's got, but
I'll walk up to his car and show my hands so I don't, to be less threatening as possible, and ask him if I could speak with him for a minute.
He's going slow enough. He's like, sure, if you can walk along with me. If I stop these oxes, it'll take forever to get them going again. But he's going pretty slow.
Like, all right. He's like, I'm like, well, I have a question. You heard about problems with the logging carts and stuff, right?
Sounds vaguely familiar, but that's fancy. That's fancy rich folk stuff. I don't pay much attention to that.
Right, I understand, but you still, I mean, what are you bringing to town? Are you bringing produce or?
Oh, mushrooms. Lots of mushrooms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Me and the woman live in the swamp, and we dig up mushrooms.
Go ahead. Great. How far out do you guys live?
Well, a couple of days. Not too far.
Have you and is this your wife, I guess?
Yes. This is my wife and my grandson.
Oh, wow. Well, he's kind of, are their parents around, or are they all selling stuff too?
Well, it's a usual same old sad story. Kids today. The girl, she died a couple years back in childbirth, and my boy, he's just an idiot. He's always getting himself in trouble and running off and smoking Black Lotus blossoms and drinking ale and things like that. And last I saw him was about a month ago, and he was needing money, but I gave him a couple of coppers and he ran off, said he heard about some new group he was joining up with. So I'm sure he'll wind up dead or in prison one of these days.
So, I'm not trying to interrogate you. I'm trying to get information because, we're having a lot of problem with these, with somebody, destroying wagons and stuff like that, making a lot of problems for the logging business. So whatever hurts them eventually trickles down to everybody, even us. We've been kind of hired to find out what's going on. and your story kind of hits a little bit on what I'm kind of looking for. If your son is part of a new group, which and maybe he's part of it, which I would, if he was, I would definitely try and get him out unharmed. But since me and my companions here are part of the Unnamed Adventuring Guild, we've been hired to help sort these things out. If you could give me any information of maybe your son gave an offhand remark of maybe an area that they stage out of, or I mean, it's just harmless and they're not even part of the group at all.
No, I understand where you're coming from, and I love him. He's my boy, but if he gets into trouble, he's brought it on himself. That's his own doing. But as far as what he got up to specifically, no, he was pretty shady about it. I don't know that.
Okay.
But I can tell you.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I can tell you this. Me and the wife have lived in the swamps for a few years now, and nobody comes there. I mean, it's, there's animals and things like that and stuff, but nobody really comes to the swamp. But a couple of months ago, I occasionally started seeing people in the swamp. I'm not going to say a lot, just one or two at a time, always off at a distance. And I don't know if you're familiar with the territory, but the swamp's just south of the road you guys are taking. But I've seen a few people here and there coming into the swamp. I figure they're up to no good, so I've just stayed away from them.
Right.
Where they're going, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing in the swamp other than our place that I know of.
Any idea can you remember what they were wearing by any chance? Maybe any of them have a green hat with a feather in it?
I didn't see nothing like that. They looked, keep in mind it was from a distance and I was looking at them through a swamp. They didn't look big, right. So I don't think they were like orc folk or nothing like that.
Okay.
But they weren't tiny either. I mean, they weren't like halfling people either. But I mean, yeah, they didn't, I don't know, 5 feet tall, maybe, give or take, I guess. Kind of hard to tell from a distance.
Right. I understand. Totally understand.
Yeah. But as far as what they were dressed, I was too far away to tell you what the material was, but it was brown, green, gray.
Could you tell if they had weapons on them?
I didn't see any weapons.
Okay.
I didn't. Again, I was kind of far away, but you can usually see a sword or a bow if it's held up at least from a distance, and I didn't see nothing like that.
All right. I look over to Dirk. Say, hey, do you have a piece of paper and a pen by any chance?
No, I've arrived into Illumina just yesterday.
Okay. Kind of looking. Is there anybody around us that has like? Oh, Hope, do you have some? Can I borrow a piece of parchment?
I jump off the cart with clothes in my boot and jump off the cart and comes and pull out my backpack. And you see I have a lot of papers.
Right.
And writing stuff.
Okay.
And I say, let me write it. I mean, so.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask, sir, if you would, could you possibly hand the reins to your wife for maybe about a minute and just quickly, off the top of your memory, since you've lived in the area so well, you probably know the terrain. Can you give me a kind of roundabout of where that's at? Just even a terrain feature would help me kind of an area where they were and which direction they were moving. If that would, there's a gold piece in it for you.
Oh, well, okay. Well, he just pulls the cart to a stop, and he's like, the woman's got her hands full, and it's late in the day. We wouldn't be able to sell till tomorrow anyway, so
okay.
Extra few minutes won't matter. And he's like, you want me to draw something for you or tell you, or what do you need?
Yeah, just basically what I'm asking is if you could, to the best of your ability, just sketch like a quick map of the area that you live in, and maybe just a terrain feature. That way I can kind of position myself where you were when you saw this and which direction they were moving. Kind of gives me an idea where to start. You know,
Okay.
kind of an investigation.
Let me see here. Come on. Trying to do a screen share, and it never seems to want to work in Google Hangouts the way it should. I mean, it usually works, but okay. This is sort of a close-up of the area you guys are in. I'm taking it you can see this map? Okay.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
there's Illumina, and you guys have been following this road up north. And he'll basically do a little hand drawing of this general area. Down here's Redgill, and the logging is happening over in this area, just south of the mountains.
Okay.
And basically, what he'll draw out, and he'll talk to you about it while he's doing it, is there's a bridge here. Once you get past this bridge and you're still heading west, you go about 10 miles, and this down here is swampy area. He's like, you go about 10 miles, and on the left side of the road, you'll see a little track that goes into the swamp. And he's like, it should still be there. We've not had a lot of rain lately. Sometimes when it rains, the track disappears. That's basically my wagon track.
Okay.
Into the swamp about 5 miles. He said, you'll basically find a building, a 2-story building that looks like it was probably a mansion at one time, maybe 100+ years ago. But now this building is old and run down. And that's where he and his wife live. He was scrounging for mushrooms a few years ago and found this place, and nobody's claimed it. Nobody's living there. So he's like, hey, we're moving in. So they live in there, and they pretty much live off the swamp other than when they go to town, or occasionally he'll go fishing or something. So it's kind of a hard living, but, it's a living. So yeah, about 5 miles into the swamp off the road is where their place is. And he said, there's nobody there now. You're welcome to go there. He will say he hasn't seen anybody or any strangers or anything from their house. But a few miles west of that, he was out in a little boat doing some fishing one day and frog gigging, and he saw some people off in the distance. And then he's seen some people come into the swamp a couple of times from the road, but they didn't follow his path. They were like going into the swamp in other places where there wasn't a trail or anything. And that's really about all he can tell you, though. He does repeat, if you guys make it to our place, you're more than welcome to stay there. It's not great, but it's a roof, and there is a little fireplace.
That definitely helps me out. Rev Jack reaches in his pouch and he hands the guy 20 gold pieces. Is here. He says, I know you guys, I don't know how much this is to you. I don't know if it's a lot or not. He says, but I know that it will keep you in pretty good comfort while you guys are in town. He says, go see a show, have some good food, and I appreciate your help.
Oh, thank you much. This is much appreciated.
How much are your mushrooms, by the way?
It depends on how much you buy. I mean, we usually sell them. We usually sell them in a whole lot, to one guy or another in town. But I've been known to sell a handful for a couple of coppers here and there.
I said, well, if you could see your way to sell me about 2 cases of them and deliver them to Pincus's establishment.
Pincus, Unnamed Adventurers Guild. All right.
Yes, sir. If you could deliver to him.
And he on the sheet of paper you gave him, he actually writes that down and then tears off that little corner and keeps it.
Okay. Also, if you ever have any problems out there, any at all, you can look up the Unnamed Adventurer Guild, or my name is Rev Jack. If you have any problems, just let me know. I'll try and come out and help you.
Okay. Well, thank you.
He puts out his hand and shakes. He's like, I'm like, what's your name again, sir?
My name's Talus. And if you run across my good for nothing son, his name's Terrence. And I don't wish the boy ill or anything like that, but if you run into him and he gives you trouble, I understand. Right. You got to do what you got to do.
Well, if all else possible, I will try not to harm them too much. Maybe just knock them out.
Okay. If you
Hopefully,
got to take him to jail, I understand.
yes, sir.
I wouldn't bring him back to my place. I've tried that several times already, and it don't do any good.
No, sir. I won't. I'll bring him back to town. And I will let you know by a courier if he is in town. That way, at least you know where he's at.
Considering what you gave us, plus what we'll make from the sale of the mushrooms, we might stay in town a couple of weeks. You know,
well, hey, you have a good time. Yes, sir.
Take the wife out of town. All right, thank you guys.
All right.
I hope gonna ask. Can you send a bus to Dream of Hopes also, headquarters, and I'm gonna pay twice at what he asked.
Oh, sure. He takes out a little piece of charcoal, sort of equivalent of a pencil, and he writes that down, and he'll take your money. He's like, sure, I'll look it up in Illumina. That'll be the first thing I'll do tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and if you need stuff, you can always buy that. I own the business.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
So when I come back to see
you told us your boy's name, but you didn't tell us what he looked like.
Oh, Terrence? Yeah, he's in his early 20s. Not quite 6 feet tall, short brown hair, kind of slender, never got a lot of weight on him. Of course, he never did a whole lot either to get any weight on him. Yeah, he's usually stupid enough to be carrying some kind of a knife or maybe a short sword or something like that. I'm not saying it's stupid for somebody to carry him, but if you're going to carry him, know how to use them. He don't know how to use them because he's an idiot. Oh yeah, he does have a birthmark on his neck, just kind of a red place, little round dot, about the size of a copper piece on his neck. So you can always tell him that way when you see him. But
that helps.
Sometimes he's got leather armor on. He didn't last time I saw him. Said he had to sell it, but
okay.
All right. Good luck to you, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you for your help.
And I'm going to help him to set the us in drawing.
Do what?
I'm going to try to make the us's drawing.
Oh yeah, you can help. It takes him a minute or so, but with some help, I'll give him an animal handling roll. Oh yeah, he needs a little more help than usual, but I'll say with advantage. Yeah, with some help from you guys, he can get it going.
Okay.
And meanwhile, you weren't there long, but it's starting to get a little later, so traffic is still fairly heavy on the road around you guys. But it seems like this time of day, more people are heading into Illumina than are heading out for sure. And the five logging wagons have pulled to a stop on the other side of the road. And the guy in the front wagon, it's a big burly guy, stands up and kind of looks at you all and says, are we ready to go now?
Yeah, I am.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, they get their horses going. Oh, and they have a lot of trouble with it too. But they eventually get them going and start heading out. And as darkness gets closer, there's fewer people traveling on the road, but you do see campsites. People are setting up camps here and there. There's actually a good number of people camping along the road. I mean, you're going to stop for the night, you can definitely find a spot. And here and there, you do see some few people at this point who kind of are on guard, but you're not seeing a lot of like professional guards. Again, you're not seeing armor or big weapons or anything, but just mostly farmers with help watching over their goods and things like that. And unless you went far off the road, pretty much anywhere you like camped along the road, you're going to be within at least yelling distance of the next campsite.
Okay. Well, is there a bigger group of farmers together than normal?
No, you're not seeing that at this point. It looks like it's mostly small groups, quite a few individuals, or not really like on their own, but maybe 2 or 3 people, or 4 or 5 at the most. But you're not seeing like one big group anywhere.
Okay. Any of them have what I would consider martial weapons?
No, you don't even see a short sword anywhere. Knives, pitchforks, wood chopping axes. Yeah, plenty of clubs and a few staves.
Okay. So it's all farmers' weapons and commoner stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And once dark hits, the wagons will pull up, and the guy in front will look at you guys and say, you ready to call it for night?
Yeah. You gonna put some of your guys in a rotating guard shift?
Yeah, we can do that. Since there's only 3 of you, that makes sense.
I don't keep watch all night.
Okay. You don't have to sleep, so.
No, I don't sleep. I have a thing that doesn't make me sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Keep watching right if I need to.
Yeah, he'll pick 3 of his guys to kind of take turns.
I just been all night then.
Yeah, so there'll always be one of them plus Hope, and if anybody else wants to stand watch, they can, of course.
I'll get up for a couple hours and BS with them.
And they'll start a fire and cook some food, but it's your standard sort of road. I mean, at least it's warm, but it's your standard, they make like a little vegetable soup and maybe some hardtack biscuits and a little bit of beef jerky for some extra flavor, but it's nothing special.
Hope doesn't talk about the food because they never get the food on the trip.
And they don't have any wine or ale.
I probably have some ale in my taste still.
That's right. I don't drink during mission stuff if I can help it.
I do.
If you can help it.
Yeah, if I can help it.
Yes, I know you do.
I'm gonna give ale to all the people. Is that not too much to the one that have guard duty, but I don't know.
Oh,
ale to everyone.
They all appreciate it, and they're like, "Don't tell the boss. He doesn't like us drinking on the job." But I don't figure one ale can hurt us.
I don't tell if you don't.
He's like, "Oh, I won't tell."
Okay.
And I'll say you guys traveled about a day, but it was slow because of the wagons. You're not too far from the bridge that would take you across the river. So roughly about another day's travel, or maybe a little less. You should be about where Talus said the track was that went off into the swamp to the south. But let's see, nothing untoward happens that night, and it's morning time again. The drovers on the wagons don't get a real early start. I mean, they're not a real late start either, but it's about 8:30ish or so when they're all up and eating breakfast and kind of ready to go. So if you guys wanted to get up early and do any kind of a morning routine, you have more than enough time to do it.
Or you can circuit of the area.
Okay.
I'll probably get up about 6. Spend about an hour.
What's your passive perception?
It is 14.
Okay. You don't notice anything unusual. Again, it's mostly like farmers and commoners. You definitely see their campsites early in the morning. They're all getting up, and you hear lots of yawning and back cracking. Some get started early, like even before the sun's up. Again, this close to Illumina, it seems like more people are heading in than are heading out. But you don't notice anything really unusual or dangerous or anything like that.
Okay. I'll approach one of the groups, putting myself in a position where they can see me well in advance, and I'll walk up to them with my hands raised, not like over my head, but saying hi.
Okay.
May I come by and speak with you?
Sure. It's a guy, looks like he's in his 30s. He's got 2 wagons being pulled by old horses. The wagon behind, there's a couple of young, little more than boys, barely teens are driving that wagon. And it's a little loud because there's a bunch of wooden cages in the back of each of these wagons, and inside of those wagons inside of those cages are a bunch of chickens. Okay. So they're squawking, especially early in this morning. The roosters are crowing some.
Like I
raise his voice a little, and it's like, "What can I do for you this morning, warrior?"
So, I got a couple questions for you about the area. Have you heard about some happenings where logging wagons have been sacked?
Oh yeah, there's been a little talk of that along the road.
He's like, "Well, let me show you some real quick. I want to see if I could jog your memory some." I pull out the little sketch map that Talus had given me. I said, "Look, we're kind of got a little information that this area," and I kind of point where he had seen those people and stuff like that, and where Talus and his wife lived and stuff. I said, right around the area, they had this fellow Talus tell me he had seen some people in the woods. I said, "Have you seen any weird stuff like that around your homestead?"
No. Our place is on the other side of the swamp, though, down closer to Red Gill. I've not noticed anything like that, but honestly, the main road's been pretty busy this time of year, so there could have been something, and I wouldn't have noticed it.
Okay. He says, "Well, he says, thank you for your time." Hands him a silver piece. It says, "It's for little guys, getting them some treats when they get in town."
Oh, thanks. Thank you much.
Yeah.
Here it is. He puts it in his pocket.
All right. So, and I'll kind of walk around to maybe one or two, kind of asking the same thing, showing them the same thing, just kind of getting an idea of, because there's going to be different people from different areas around.
Yeah.
Maybe they saw something.
The general impression you'll get is most of them have heard at least something about the logging problems, but they don't really know a whole lot about it because they're not in that line of work.
Right.
No one tells you that they've seen anything, that was automatically suspicious, but it's kind of like that last guy just told you. It's like, there's a lot of travel there's on the road this time of year. So yeah, it wouldn't be that difficult for somebody to slip off into the woods or the swamp without being noticed, especially at nighttime, but even during the day, there's so many people, and nobody's noticed anything sort of dangerous. There's not been any groups of bandits seen or anything like that.
Nothing out of the ordinary, even if it was just a group of guys walking through the woods, because the group that Talus had seen, they didn't have any weapons. They were just walking.
Nobody tells you that they've seen anything like that. They will tell you, if you didn't know, that every now and then there are some riders, some armed soldiers from Illumina that ride through down the Red Gill and back. Mm-hmm. It's not all that often, but this road seems to be pretty safe, at least right now. Okay. And occasionally, one of the farmers who's doing a little better might hire 1 or 2 bodyguards, but you don't really see a lot of that kind of thing on this road, at least this time of year anyway.
Okay. Well, I'll do the same thing. I'll hand each of the leaders or the one that speaks to me a silver piece.
No, thank you.
Just
And
for
they're
the
pretty
information.
cordial.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I figured I know they got shit to do and they want to get on the road if they're up that early, so, wasting their time, at least to make it beneficial for them.
A silver piece is worth a couple of minutes of their time, though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll head back to camp since I'm not really catching anything.
Okay.
I give them a small prayer of Paylor after he pays them.
You'll get a few people who are kind of like nod and smile and it's like, thank you, Padre. And even a couple that'll kind of say their own little quick prayer to Paylor.
I put the medallion back and I follow Rev Jeff back to our camp.
Okay.
When Tom is bad, I'm gonna ask the new guy I don't know. Are you a priest?
No.
Why are you praying in the morning then?
Because that's something a friend would do.
Friend of who?
A friend of mine.
And I just turn around and jump in the cart and just waiting. Are we going?
Yeah, they're ready to go whenever you guys are.
Oh yeah, I'm good. Like I said, I just trying to gather some more information.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm ready to move whenever.
You guys.
Is Rev Jet on the same cart as me?
That's up to him, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
I'll sit in another cart.
I'm trying to say, did you see my new weapon? And I'm trying to throw my club over to him.
Is it a club?
Yeah. It's have a team. It's have runes of devil and demon symbols.
Like, wow. That's a nice, pretty stick. Crack skulls with that, huh?
It gonna hurt.
Hey,
when I hit them.
If it hurts, it hurts. That's good.
You're gonna see it if you're gonna fight. Not us, but if you're gonna get into a fight. I know you always fight. You don't think that much.
You guys get on the road, and it's a couple hours until you get to the bridge. It's a stone bridge, partly wood, partly stone bridge that goes across the river. And it's a fairly wide river here, so it's a fairly wide bridge, 100 yards or so. But it seems to be kept in good shape. There are some guards here from Illumina. Actually, there seems to be a small station house, and it looks fairly new, like this wasn't always the case. And again, they're pretty much ignoring everybody. The traffic is still pretty heavy. Maybe not quite as heavy as it was the day before because you're a little further from Illumina, but still there's plenty of people about. And every now and then there'll be a cart that'll pull up to the guardhouse and asking a question or directions or something like that. But the guards seem they're not like really on alert or anything like that. They seem bored, if anything.
Okay. I'll actually ask him while we go by. He's like, "Hey, you seen anything funny?"
You guys.
Right.
The guard makes a fair point.
I mean, there's an elf and a tiefling, and this guy that's dressed in dark clothes from head to toe. You're probably the strangest thing.
It's like desert worn.
Okay, well, whatever. You guys are probably the strangest thing we've seen in at least a week.
Well, that's good then. Thanks.
Okay. And they kind of give you a queer look, but they don't stop you or say anything else to you. and you travel on across the bridge unless you want to do something or stop. There is enough room on the bridge for wagons to get by each other without too much trouble. But you can definitely tell if there was like some big accident or something in the middle of the bridge, it would probably bring things to a halt. But nothing adventurous happens as you're going over. The guys that are driving your all's wagons, they're not real talkative with you, but they're also not like dead quiet. I mean, you know, they'll pretty much tell you whatever they think you need to know, and they'll occasionally get in a little small talk if one of you says something to them. But they're not like trying to be your best buddies or anything like that. But they're not trying to be like rude and totally ignore you either. If anything, they're maybe a little leery of you, especially the tiefling. But they're not like running scared or anything like that.
I probably small talk a bit about them, but
they'll talk to you, but they just kind of look at you like a little bit in awe. You're definitely not something they're used to seeing.
I'm probably used to that, so it's not it's not keeping me down. So
and you ride on throughout the day, and it's getting near dark again, and you shouldn't be too far from where Talus's map shows that there's a little path going off to the swamp, and you definitely can see the swamp. To the north of the road, it's like low hills and a little bit of forest getting ready to go into some mountains, which you can see off in the distance. And to the south, it's pretty much just swamp as far as you can see. Okay. And if you get like directly off the road, it's not like you're going to sink down, but it definitely is a little marshy there. But if you went like 100 yards into it, yeah, there's definitely standing water, and you'd probably see some animal life moving around here and there. Eye out.
Like that, if a wagon tried to go, a wagon full of wood tried to go through the swamp, it wouldn't make it.
Probably would not. It would probably get stuck after 50 yards or so from leaving the main road. And if it could make it farther than that, at least from where you're at, it looks like it'd probably just sink. I mean, without going out there, it's hard to tell how deep the waters are, but there's definitely a good bit of water here and there throughout. I mean, there's not. Go ahead.
Is there any like stone markings, like where, like say if somebody marked an area that was good, so that way they could find it over and over? Like a beginning of a pathway.
Give me a perception roll.
All right.
I'll join them, but I want to specifically look for signs of thieves' camp.
Oh, okay.
I rolled a 22.
Oh, well, that's pretty good. Actually, no, you do not. You do see some stone markers along the sides on the right side of the road, the more dry side of the road, but they're just road markers. They're typical, like every mile or so, you'll see a stone that's been painted white.
Okay.
And at least from where you're at, you don't quite see a path going off into the swamp on the south side of the road. But again, looking at the sheet of paper you've got, you would expect to see something like that fairly soon. Right? And by soon, I'd say within the hour if you kept going.
Okay, well, are these guys trying to stop for the night, or are we still moving?
No, not necessarily. I mean, they'll stop or slow down if you're wanting to do a little investigation and looking around, but otherwise they'll keep going slow if you tell them to go, and you'll catch up. We'll say it's going to be dark in about an hour.
Okay. Well, I'd rather keep moving until we see signs of where Talus had marked on his map, like the little trail that he uses to find the little house.
Okay. You guys go about another hour. It's definitely, the sun's going down. I mean, there's still a little bit of light in the sky, but not much. Let me see.
I mean, if the guys are ready to strike camp now, since it is getting dark, we can do that.
They're ready. They're ready whenever you guys are.
Oh, well, I'll tell them, say, hey, if you guys want to strike camp, because it's almost
There,
light out, so you guys can see what you're doing. I'll probably scout out some, see if I can find what this what Talos was talking about here.
okay. They're like, fine, we'll set up camp. The guy who sort of seems to be in charge, he'll go up to Revjack since he's the one who's been doing the most of the talking, and he'll say, look, I'm not trying to be a jerk here. We're supposed to do what you guys tell us to do, but I was just wondering if maybe a couple of you guys could stand the guard tonight so my boys could get some sleep since we stood guard last night.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay, and he's like, we'll trade off with you. We'll take it again tomorrow night. You know.
No, I told him, I said, I understand it. It's not easy riding a damn cart all day.
Yeah, he's like, and we don't want you to get dead tired either because you got a job to do too.
Ah, well, we're moving there today. I can take a nap in the back. It's not a big deal.
Okay, sure. They'll start setting up camp.
I said, but I'm gonna leave for a couple hours to go search for a little bit, and I'll be back before you guys crash.
Give me a perception roll. Or investigation, whichever, or even wilderness survival, whichever one you want to do.
Okay. Well, perception will be a 16, so that'd be the highest one I got.
Okay. Actually, you head down the road like maybe 2 miles. You've not even been gone that long, and it's a little hard to see because it's getting dark now. But sure enough, there's a trail, two lines of wagon wheels going into the swamp. At first, for maybe the first 30 feet, it looks like it's pretty dry, and then the wagon, the indentions or whatever, there's like a little standing water in them, but it doesn't appear to be overly deep. You know, it looks like you could walk or ride a horse through it or take a cart through it. It'd probably be slow.
Can I see the house from where I'm at?
No, you cannot. Keep in mind, he said it was about 5 miles off the road.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
But especially with the dark, pretty much all you see is, swamp trees and vines, and you'll hear night animal noises, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But literally, you guys just set up camp a couple miles short of it.
No.
And this night, there are not nearly as many people camping along the road. There are a few. Every few miles, there'll be a little group. But there's not nearly as many as there was the night before when you were quite a bit closer to Illumina.
And I'm gonna put my ale of test, or my ale tested, so the people to drink all the one, because I don't have that much left.
Oh, okay.
So don't need to keep watch everywhere, so that the drink. So
okay. They're thankful. The boss has gone to sleep early, so he doesn't seem to notice or say anything.
Okay.
And I don't take a couple beers with them.
Okay. They'll enjoy the beers and thank you for them. They're like, yeah, we like you, Demon Spawn, or whatever you are.
I'm Hope.
Oh, okay. We like you, Hope. Free beer. That's awesome. And one of the guys is like, yeah, when I get to hell, they're handing out free beer.
Maybe they will.
But they have their drinks and then they head off to bed. They're pretty much leaving you guys to watch for the night. And so, Revjack, are you going to stay gone the full 2 hours, or after what you discover, are you going to head back?
How long does it take me as far as the 2 hours when I found it? About an hour in or something? Or?
Probably not even that. I mean, it's just a couple of miles away. It would depend on, if you were walking straight down the road, you'd probably be there. If you were given a little jog, you'd probably be there in 15 or 20 minutes. But, if you were really searching the road well, taking your time, it might take you an hour to get there.
Well, you said it was really marked well, so I probably would have jogged down.
Yeah. And you have no problem seeing it.
All right.
It's a little harder
to move in down the road. the trail to his house at a moderate pace, not jogging, but just quick enough not to fall on my face in the swamp.
Okay.
Just to see, just long enough to see if I can see the house.
After you go like 30 feet into the swamp, your boots are definitely sinking down into mud and stuff. It would be difficult terrain at this point, but you can keep going, and you can see a path ahead of you a little bit. But I'll say you go about 100 yards, and unless you've got something I don't know of, I think you're human. The way before you looks like completely black.
Okay. Damn. Curse you, humans. I ain't got the night eye. Damn.
Well, there's always a torch, but you know that may draw attention you want.
It's like a laser beam in the night.
Yeah, especially in the swamp.
Yeah.
I'll be sleeping because I know Hope will be awake.
Okay.
I'll probably just head back. I'm not gonna. With
Okay.
me not being able to see, I don't want to test it too much, so I'll head back to the camp.
You're gone a couple hours, give or take, a few minutes then, and your boots are muddy by the time you get back.
Mm.
And Hope is the only one awake. During your wanderings, you will realize that the next camps where there's any people are a couple of miles off in either direction. So you're not real close to anybody else.
All right.
When you see Hope, you're gonna without a sting flash of a whiskey. 2 wish flash. So, wanna taste?
Okay.
And I hand over the whiskey.
All right.
And let's see. RevJack, give me another perception roll.
All right. I rolled a 14 this time.
Oh, okay. Just as you're coming back into the camp, and Hope is holding up, his flask or jar, bottle, whatever it is, saying, "Hey, you want some whiskey?" Just for a second, the sun has gone down. There's a little bit of moon up and some starlight. You're away from a city, so the sky is pretty clear here. Just for a second, you thought you saw something moving in the swamp to the south of the road, like maybe 30 or 40 feet out, not real far out. And you do know here that it would be pretty mucky, probably even worse than the road you were on earlier. But from what you can remember the daylight, somebody could walk through here, or it could be an animal, an alligator, or an owlbear. But yeah, just out of the corner of your eye, you thought you, for a second, saw some movement.
Okay. So I'm gonna keep walking into camp and be like, "Oh yeah, let's yeah, I'll take a drink and I'll, put my thumb on the top of it and act like I'm drinking." Hand it back to him. Was like, "There's something I saw in the swamp. Can you kind of do a nonchalant look and see if you see anything, like over my shoulder or something?"
I'm gonna look that way then.
Before you even have a chance to see anything, to a little further east, down towards let's say the direction of where the last wagon is tied up for the night. From that part of the swamp down there, you definitely hear a loud cracking sound. I mean, it's like obviously somebody stepped on a branch or a stick or something, followed up by somebody going, "Damn!"
Okay. Now I guess we're right there by the fire, right?
You can be. It's wherever you wanted to build the fire.
Oh, well, I'm saying, how far can I judge how far the last wagon would be?
The end of the last wagon is probably 50 feet away, maybe.
So I can see it.
You have night vision?
Yeah, I have an item.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you can see the end of the wagon. There's two guys sleeping in the back of it.
Okay. Do the two guys wake up that were in the wagon, or?
No, they do not. Nobody else seems to wake up. It wasn't
Like,
loud
did you
enough
hear
for that.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I hope don't jump down and say I'm gonna hit it with the other guy up, and I don't know dash down there.
Yeah, so I'll go stand next to Strider here, Dirk, and
Okay.
and kind of like nudge his leg and like get up slowly. There's people around, and I'm gonna walk over. I'm gonna start walking towards the end of the wagon line, messing around with my crotch, making it look like I'm getting ready to take a leak.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna start scanning as best I can. And I'm gonna duck in between two wagons and kind of crouch on the other side and
Are you
go
trying
stealthy?
Okay, give me a stealth roll. And you definitely, I won't make it a roll. You woke Dirk up. You nudged him enough to be annoying.
All right,
I'm
so I rolled
just gonna
a
pull out my short bow and sit
21.
there and look around.
21 for stealth.
Okay. You think you're definitely pretty hidden in the shadows and stuff behind the cart. Hope you ran down to the end of a cart. Give me a perception roll.
Me or Hope?
Hope. Oh,
sorry.
He sees you taking a leak.
Nat 20, so that is 20.
yeah. Considering they got a nat 1 because they suck at stealth, apparently. Yeah, you get down there and with your dark vision, you definitely see there's like it looks like two people trying to hide behind a tree in the swamp to the south of the road. They're maybe 30 feet from you.
Oh,
and they're trying to hide, but they're not doing a real good job.
Is that persons?
It looks like two people.
Okay. I done a test to man on them.
Okay. What's
And
the DC?
The 16.
Okay, and what are you telling them?
Approach. So the next turn, they need to. All they're gonna do is go to me, and in this turn, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, one of them immediately. I mean, he's like his hands are straight forward, almost like he's mesmerized, and he's starting to walk. He's starting to walk towards you, but his partner is like, "What the hell are you doing? What are you doing? Get back here, stupid!"
I did both in it.
I know. He made his.
Okay,
the other one made his save.
Okay, sure. Just make sure.
He's like, "Get back, idiot!" And then he jumps behind the tree again.
All right, so I'm gonna try and circle around him and subdue him, I guess. If I can sneak around the other side of him.
You would have to cross the road at some point, but it is dark. Maybe they're human. Give me another stealth check.
All right. I got 20.
Yeah, you can make it to the other side of the road down on that end. You're pretty sure you weren't seen, or at least there's no signs of it.
Okay.
And give me another perception roll.
All right.
He is trying to stay hidden, but
I rolled it's a 10.
okay, that's actually good enough because he rolled worse than that. Yeah, you see a guy hunkered down behind a tree. His butt's almost sitting in water. You do notice in his right hand is like a curved knife. Okay. And you see Dirk run over to Hope, and Hope's kind of standing there at the end of the last wagon, and there is a figure about 5.5 feet tall, literally marching forwards with like his hands out, going emo tap, and walking straight for Hope.
Okay, so I want to sneak up behind this guy and just want to grab his hand where the dagger is, and the other with my left hand. Well, I don't know. Depending on what. Is he right-handed?
He appears to be right-handed. It would be the side you're facing at the moment.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab his hand that has a blade in it and grip it hard, and then with my other hand, I want to grab him underneath. I want to kind of basically put my arm underneath his chin and carry him over to where everybody else is.
Okay. First, give me kind of an unarmed attack roll.
Okay.
Or you know what? Change that. Make it a grapple check.
Okay, so it's basically like a strength check.
Yeah. With
Athletics.
yeah, you can add athletics if you have a bonus there.
Okay. Ooh, all right. All right, I rolled on that 20, and I got a +7 on athletics.
Okay, so he has a +0 and rolled a 2. So you've totally grabbed this guy by the hand and grabbed him by however under the chin and start pulling forward. And you're close enough now that you can see for sure. He's got like a black hood pulled over his face, so you can't really see his features or what race he is. But he's not very heavy, and he's about, like I said, about 5.5 feet tall.
All right, so while I'm carrying him, I guess I'll kind of lift him up by his hand that I'm holding the dagger in and let him dangle and pull his hood back and grab his hair and like look at him while I'm walking, since I'm owning his ass right now.
Since you're looking him right in the face, he's not putting up a fight, and his eyes are huge. He looks scared shitless. It is a human male, very young. If he's 16, you'd be surprised. And
he doesn't have a birthmark, does he?
He does not have a birthmark on him.
Okay.
And in fact, depending on how you hold it, he will let go of the knife and drop it unless you're like literally holding his fingers closed so he can't do so.
I'm doing that. I don't trust him. I'm just basically carrying him.
Yeah, but from the look in his face, he's going to give you no trouble. He looks really scared. And give me another perception roll at the moment.
All right. I rolled a 14.
Okay. Further to the west, in the direction you had been originally, you hear somebody back in the swamp say, "Oh shit, they're caught. Let's get out of here." And then you hear some splashing, like there's 2 or 3 people running off.
Okay, so I want to do 2 things. One, I'm going to bend his hand to a way that he will drop the knife.
Okay, he doesn't fight, so he just drops a knife.
Okay, so he drops his knife, and then I want to like grab him by his pants and basically, like, if I'm grabbing him by his feet and I'm doing a circle, not like that, but I'm basically grabbing him by his hand and the scruff of his pants, and I'm going to do like a circle and throw him to where Hope and what's his name is, and then I'm gonna dash after the.
Give me an athletics roll.
Okay.
He's not that heavy, but he's still probably 130, 140 pounds.
15 altogether.
He probably doesn't go quite as far as you'd like him to, but yeah, he goes in that direction a good distance. He makes it onto the road at least, and sort of crashes into the ground and lays there. And his buddy is now up there, and he's just sort of standing there facing Hope.
I look at him while I'm running, and I'm like, stay.
He's like, yes, sir.
And then I take off towards where the other ones were.
Okay. Hope and Dirk, you've got this guy kind of laying crumpled in the ground, not moving. And you've got another guy just sort of standing there. He lowers his arms now, and he's staring at Hope. And he's like, it's like he was dazed, and he kind of comes out of it, and he's like, he's got a black hood over his head too. And he's a little taller than the other guy is. And he's kind of like, oh hell, we're in trouble.
I tried to intimidate him to let go for fighting, so I had to tie them up.
He doesn't seem to be fighting. You do see he's got a dagger stuck in a belt on the front of his clothes, but he's not drawn it, and he doesn't seem to be putting in a fight. He's just kind of standing there, and he says, oh hell, we're in trouble, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm going to point my bow at him and pull it back. with an arrow, and I say, "Do as the man says."
He's like, okay. I don't know what to do. I'm not trying to. He puts his hands up. He's like, I'm willing to drop my dagger, but I'm kind of afraid to reach for it to pull it out and drop it because I'm afraid I'll get shot.
Hands on your back. And I'm gonna take my rope.
Okay. He puts his hands behind his back.
What is my rope? It's rope of stressing.
I'm going to face the younger man once Hope has the other guy contained.
I'm gonna
Okay.
knife out of him, throw it over to my body.
Yeah, it's a cheap, rusty knife.
Yeah, but just so they don't.
Still, it's a knife.
I'm gonna tie him up.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to tie the other person up with him.
Yeah, they don't fight you, but as you start to tie up the second guy, he starts crying. He literally starts crying.
I don't give a shit about that. Chopper made us. Fuck that. So I tied them up, and I'm gonna cut the end of the rope, but that's its rope of stretching. So I put my the right end into my backpack again.
Okay. And at this point, some of the guys in the back of the wagons are starting to wake up, and they're like, whoa, what's going on? You know?
Pretty sure to a troublemakers. I hear a bit crack. Do you know what that is? Was that a wagon?
The one tied up guy, the first one you tied up who still has a hood in his head, he's like, oh, that's because idiot here accidentally stepped on a branch.
So what are you trying to do?
Stuff.
Isn't it obvious? They're scouts.
Yeah, but let me see. If you don't tell me the truth, I'm gonna pull your soul out of your body.
The guy with the hood in his head clams up and doesn't say anything, but the other guy who's crying, he's like, the druid made us do it. He told us he's been paying us. We're supposed to come up here and stop the logging trucks and stuff. We're not supposed to hurt anybody or anything. He said it'd be all right and we wouldn't get in trouble, and he's paying us. And yeah, it's the druid's fault. Don't hurt us, please. Maybe let us go.
A druid?
Yeah, a druid, little guy, lives in the swamp, someplace.
Can I make an insight?
Sure.
16.
He is totally telling the truth. He is spilling his guts like a little bitch.
I go a little bit to the side. I look to my new companion and say thanks for the help. And maybe we need to follow our friend.
Who I'm going to jump to now. Rev Jack, you're running into the swamp?
I'm running after the other two. Can I see them?
I
know they're gonna be hard to see because they've got black shit on, but
you cannot see them.
All right.
They were a bit ahead of you, like 50 feet ahead of you, and disappeared in the swamp, and it gets dark quick. And without some kind of light source, yeah, you're not going to be able to see them at all.
All right, so I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna take a knee and close my eyes and just listen.
Okay. Give me a perception roll.
All right. It's old infantry trick. Oh, I rolled a nat 20.
Oh yeah, you can hear them. With that roll, you would guess there's 3 of them. They're now further away from you, and they're running as fast as they can, which is really not all that fast. I mean, they're probably moving about a quarter speed. They're moving away from you towards the southwest. They are going deeper into the swamp. You would also guess these people, or whatever they are not real heavy. I mean, they're making a fair amount of noise, but it's more because they're probably not professionals at what they're doing, or they're not trying to hide. They're just trying to get away.
Okay.
But I mean, you're not hearing.
I'm ahead
Go ahead.
after him. Dash to catch up to him.
What's your movement?
Movement is regular 30.
Okay. You're going to notice fairly quick, like within a minute or two, that you're probably not going to be able to catch up to them. It's not that they're getting away from you.
Terrain.
It's probably more terrain than anything. You're just not able to catch up with. They're staying about the same distance away from you. You're just not getting any closer to them.
Okay.
And you're also running into the fact that you can now see nothing. Well, you can see back to the road a little bit. There's a little bit of starlight back there.
That's okay. We'll catch up. I got the other two over there. We'll catch up to them later.
Can I see Repjet?
You could for a while, but eventually he would have got too far away for your dark vision.
But do you have an opportunity to follow?
Probably not immediately, no, because you guys were doing an interrogation while he was running off.
Okay.
That's all right. I'm gonna head back.
I kill after Dripjet. Where they're going?
Well, about the time you're done with your interrogation, Revjack comes walking out of the swamp. He's a little muddy now. There's a few briars and things on him.
Yeah, I'm a little pissed, and I'm like clenching my hands, and I'm like staring at the two dudes, like I'm like super pissed, and I want to try to intimidate them.
Well, one of the guys from the
relax.
One of the guys in the back
Relax.
of the wagon.
They're not your enemy.
One of the guys in the back of a wagon jumps down. He's a fairly young guy himself, like early 20s, and he walks over. He's like, "I think we should lynch him."
We are not lynching anyone.
A couple of the other guys were like, "Well, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. I mean, if we took them into Illumina, they'd probably be lynched anyway." We're just saying.
Can I notice one of them that is looking like he's cooperating and one that's not? Can I notice that the guy that's climbing up?
Oh, yeah. The guy who's clammed up still has his face covered with a hood, and he's a little taller than the other one. And the other one that's tied up in the ground, you can definitely see he's like he's maybe 14, 15 years old, human male. And he's not talking now but he's still crying. There's still tears coming out of his eyes, and he's like muttering under his breath. He's like, "Dad's going to kill me."
All right, so I'll walk up to the one that's clammed up, and I'll grab him by his throat and lift him off the ground.
Give me an athletics roll. He's a little taller and a little heavier.
And both is tied together, just saying.
Yeah.
All right, I rolled 22.
Oh yeah, you can do it.
I got 20 strength, so I'm just like, and I pull a dagger off his damn. Is this dagger still on, or did you guys take the dagger off?
They took it off of him.
Okay. And I'll be like, put his face right to my face, and I'm like, "Tell me what I want to know, or I'll bleed you."
Give me an intimidation roll.
All right. I rolled a 13. They didn't
Okay.
So.
He's staring at you through the holes in his hood, and since you're holding by the throat, he says,
Okay, so I'll loosen it up to where like I'm holding him by his jawbone instead of his throat.
He's like, "The idiot already told him."
Oh, he did? I look at Hope.
Yeah,
He already told you guys?
No, you just asked him.
He's like, oh, okay, my bad. He drops him on the floor.
Okay.
Sorry. I got a little wet, and he starts shaking himself off.
It would be nice if you told me where the other drone, because I had to fly after them, but now it's too late.
I point in a direction. I said they took off in the swamp that way, and they just got to a point where I couldn't catch up to them or see them. I said, but I'll take you to the spot where they started out and which direction they were moving. There's about 3 of them. Probably about the same size as these guys. Yeah.
The young guy who's been crying, he sort of rolls over in his back and looks up, and he stops crying, but he's kind of panting. He's like, "You don't have to chase after them. I know where they're going. They're going to the Druid's Grove."
Oh.
Okay.
It's like
Directions.
you take Old Man Talus's cart path down to his house, and then you head due west. I don't know exactly. It's maybe 4 or 5 miles or something like that. It's through swamp though, and there's gators and bugs and all kinds of stuff, so you never know what you're going to run into. Though the druid keeps the area pretty clear. He keeps it safe for us. But he's got there's like a little, I don't know what you call it, clearing or a little island or something, and the druid's kind of set up there. And then he looks up and he's like, are you guys with the Unnamed Adventurers Guild?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's been waiting for you.
Oh.
Has he?
Yeah, that's what he said anyway. He's always going on about the Unnamed Adventurers Guild. How he hates them so much.
Oh, so he's ready for us.
I don't know if he's ready for you tonight, but I know that was part of this whole plan. That's why he's been paying us to attack these logging trucks, because it's taken about a month or so, but he said sooner or later, sure enough, the Unnamed Adventurers Guild would show up.
Does he have a lot of animal friends around him?
No, he doesn't have any animal friends.
He's a druid. They like animals.
Well, that's kind of funny. He claims to be a druid, but I don't ever. He kind of keeps animals away from the area, but I don't ever see him with any animals.
You ever get a creepy feeling when you're around him?
No, maybe a little bit from time to time. He's kind of a weird guy, but I don't know. He's not really what I would think of a druid would be like, I guess, but I've never known any druids.
He might not be a druid then.
Well, I know he keeps animals out of the area, and he can do a little bit of magic at least. He can do lights and stuff, fancy stuff.
This is why my friend right here can do all that too. But he's not a druid.
And I loot who?
It's like, I don't know. I don't know druids. I just know he claims to be a druid, or he calls himself a druid.
Okay, where do you live?
Well, for the last few months, I've been living in the swamp at the Druids Grove. We've got a couple of huts there that we kind of put together. But before that, I was on a boat or on a ship that landed in Redgill, and I got tired of the sea life, so I was looking for something different, and this guy found me and said
He found you in Redgill?
Yeah, he found me at Redgill. I was sleeping in an alley back behind one of the taverns, and this guy found me and said he'd pay me. You know, he's not paying a lot, but at least he pays something, and he said it wouldn't be real dangerous. I guess he was wrong, since now you guys are probably going to kill us.
No, we don't kill for any reason.
Young guy, right? Did he look like a good kid or a bad kid?
The kid that's talking?
Yeah.
He looks like a scared kid.
You know anybody named Terrence that's there with you guys?
Perception roll.
I rolled a 13.
Okay. As soon as you say the name Terrence, he doesn't say anything, but his eyes dart over to his partner, the one that still has the hood in his head. And then he looks back up at you, but he doesn't say anything.
I go and move his hood off of his head. Is that Terrence?
It would appear to be. It's a young man, probably in his early 20s, short brown hair. He's got a red mark on his neck.
Oh, so you're Terrence. You're the
And
asshole.
he's like, "Thanks a lot, idiot."
Yeah, I would have found out
why
eventually.
am I the asshole? Not if he hadn't. Whatever. Okay, so what are you going to do? You're going to hang us? You're going to gut us?
Probably not. You didn't do anything.
Kill anybody. He'd probably just take you back to town.
I didn't kill anybody. I didn't steal anything.
Did you break stuff?
Not me personally.
So you are Jason to break stuff. You're trying to pay back all that you break, and while you're doing that, you can avoid at my place. While you pay the bet.
I don't want to work at your place. You've got a tail. I don't want to work for something that's got a tail.
Is this the Terrence guy talking?
Yeah.
I'm gonna smack him in his face.
I'm not asking him. I'm asking the young guy. I don't want that fucking idiot.
Oh, the young guy?
Yeah, the little one.
The young guy's like, sure, mister, whatever saves my neck. I'll come to work for you. It'll be a job. At least I'll have a roof over my head and something to eat, I guess.
Yeah.
Terrence just kind of sneers.
I'm gonna fucking
That's
smack
okay.
his head. And then turn about to the crowd and say, I don't, you cannot lynch the little guy. I don't care about the other one.
One of them gets out a rope. Okay, we can hang the one then.
No. He ain't kill anybody, right?
No, I said lynch.
No.
Lynch
Not that you know of.
Well, I asked the guys. I asked the leader of the wagon train here. I was like, "Hey, did any of your people get hurt or killed?"
Nobody got killed. Nobody got real seriously hurt.
Okay.
You guys hurt their hands a little bit putting out fires, but nothing, too
it's
bad.
not a crime punishable by death just because you feel like a bloodlust. So if anything, you take them back to the guards back there, and they can take them to town and put them on trial. This one, at least.
Terrence just sneers again, and he's like, and what do you think they're going to do to me in Illumina? They're going to hang me. Might as well do it now and get it over with.
Well, if you were such a turd, maybe you should have stayed on the farm.
Oh, yeah, and pick mushrooms for the rest of my life? That's exactly what I'd want to do.
Maybe you won't be a turd here.
This is getting us nowhere. Please stop arguing with the children. They don't deserve death.
Yeah, let's hang him!
No.
Turn
They
around.
don't deserve death.
Turn around and made a persuasion shit that don't touch them or hurt them all night.
Okay, give me a persuasion check.
Fuck. I rolled a 5.
String him up!
I have +8, so that's 13. But I use my one of my abilities, and I have to add 5 to that. So I have to add a D10, so that's 18.
Okay. The guy who's the leader, he kind of comes forward, and he'll say, "Look, I can untie one of the horses, and it'll take me all night, but I can ride back to the guards and tell them what's going on, and maybe they can send a couple of fellas here to get these guys."
All right, that works.
Yeah. He's like, okay.
I'm
Yeah,
not
he'll start
familiar with Illumina law, but it sounds like if they go back there, they'll be killed.
From what you know of, well, somewhat Illumina, but most cities, yeah, there probably is a pretty good chance they'd be hung.
So,
I'd say
Justice is pretty rough. I mean, it's not a given. They didn't kill anybody. They might not be hung, but then again, they were screwing with basically corporate interests.
Yeah.
Okay, so what if we send them back with the logging company and have them work it off? I mean, what would the logging company's owners do? Would they kill them, or would they make them work it off?
Are you just talking among yourselves, or are you asking?
Well, I'm asking the dude that's in charge of the wagons.
He's like, honestly, it's 50-50. It could go either way. Depending on how ticked off the bosses are, they may just say give him to Illumina and let him be hung. Or they may say, yeah, we can work something out, and, they can work it off.
I just say the little guy already got a job on me, and I'm gonna pay the things he ruined to the company.
Indentured servant.
Yeah.
The boss guy will say, "Huh?
I don't want the idiot on the side. Then. It's a fucking idiot.
I can't blame you. If he's got an
Okay.
attitude like that, nobody's gonna want him. And I look at him and say, with an attitude like you got, yeah, you probably will be hung. But if you show a little damn humbleness and you work your ass off back to the company, maybe they'll keep you alive and give you a job.
He's just
Better
like,
than doing this shit.
He's
I
just
said-
like, screw you."
I'm a dude. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of your mouth. I'm just gonna punch him in the face.
I'm gonna stop him.
Okay.
I'll let you hit that kid 3 times now.
Unless RevJack
And-
wants to go into a grappling competition, I'm going to basically say you can stop him. Unless RevJack really pushes it.
I've
Yeah,
let you
stop
hit
it.
him 3 times. I've let your tiefling demon friend hit him once.
And Terrence just looks up and he's like, "Yeah, that's right. That's what life has taught me. You think a little lynching scares me? Everywhere I go, this is what I get."
Quiet boy, you don't help yourself.
I'm like, all right, well, he's your responsibility then.
I'll accept it. See if he's as useful as he claims to be.
Useful? I didn't claim to be useful. I'm more useful than these idiots, but
Well, let's see how much more useful than those idiots you are.
well, what do you want me to do?
Thing for now. But when we arrive back to the Illumina, we'll see about making you a retainer of the guild. For starters.
Huh. Well, let's see if you guys survive the druid first.
No issue.
We may not make it back to the guild. Because I know what he's got planned for you. These idiots don't. I do.
So tell me.
Why should I tell you? You've sat here and beat me all night. We didn't even do anything. We were walking along the side of the road in the forest, minding our own business, and then next thing we know, you guys are attacking us.
And I'm trying to yell in my face. Tell me. And try to intimidate him.
Well, give me an intimidation roll.
Yeah, I'm pretty good to that shit. 18 plus 8, so 26.
He's like, "Okay, I'll tell you." He's like, "It's not going to do you any good. When you get there, not only do you have to face the druid, he's got hidden away a monster somewhere. And this monster is going to rip you guys limb from limb. And it's a big monster with fangs and claws. And it breathes fire.
It's a dragon?
I don't know. I don't know monsters.
Sounds like
I don't
fun.
think it's that. It's not that big, I don't think. It's big enough, though.
I don't know. It was like, I'm gonna catch some sleep since we're gonna go fight monsters tomorrow.
Yeah, it's probably best we doing this in the morning.
Okay. The wagon guys are going to, about half of them are going to stay up for the night. They're kind of like, "Oh, we're wide awake now." So, are any of you staying awake?
Yeah, I'm always there awake.
Are you obviously awake, like you're sitting up, or are you going to lay down and close your eyes?
I could do like light activities all night.
Okay. But so anybody looking would probably see you like up moving around and stuff like that. Okay.
Or reading maybe. Or something like that, yeah.
Some of the guys from the wagons, they will take the 2 kids, and they actually put gags in their throats so they can't talk anymore. And then they throw them in the back of a wagon. And they're a little rough about it, but they kind of got the word. They're not beating them or anymore or anything like that. Though one of them will make a noose out of a rope and kind of smiles and holds it up for the kids to see. And the younger one starts crying again, but eventually they'll go to sleep.
I'm going to sit beside the kids.
Okay. Nothing happens during the night, but in the morning, just not too long before the sun's come up, you can hear horses coming. And the headman comes riding back in a horse, and there's two other horses behind him with look like guards from Illumina. It pretty much took him all night riding there and back because you're a good little distance away from where the bridge was. But they do get back in the morning, like I said, right not too long before the sun comes up. And the head wagon guy from the lumber company will hook his horse back up to a wagon. Then he gets his men up, and they're making breakfast. And he's actually going to go to bed and put one of them sort of semi in charge. And the two guards come over. They get off their horses and walk over to look at the two kids in the back of the wagon. And they kind of look at Dirk, and one of them is like, so is this the two miscreants here?
Yes, but what would I know?
I'm coming over with a note that said the small one is gonna be employed by me. I pay all of his destruction he have done.
Okay. The guard will take the note, and he'll look at it, and he's like, well, this is good. It's not a guarantee. You know, they still might want to.
I'm gonna pay the fine in front. I need to pay me afterwards with work. But I only want the small one, but just another one is the fucking douche.
Well, if he pulls that kind of nonsense in the court, the judge will definitely string him up. Or worse, maybe put him to work at hard labor.
But that is what I can help. And I tried to help the both, but the other one was
okay. I'll take.
Made a very poor effort.
Poor effort at what?
Both.
I'll take your note and make sure the judge gets it, and we'll take these two into Illumina. I can't guarantee you it's up to the judge, but this note will probably help a lot. Let's just hope the judge isn't hungover in a bad mood or something like that.
Yeah, let's hope that.
And the kid is trying to say something through his gag.
I'll pull it up.
I'll pull his gag up.
He's just like, thank you, Sir Hope. I promise I'll do right by you. I'll do whatever you want. I'll do it.
That's okay. We all have been in a trouble sometime.
And the two guards will gag them again and put one of the lads over each of the back of their horses, and they'll get in their horses and ride away.
How long does a trial process usually take?
Oh, it depends on how busy the courts are. They could be hanging from the gallows by tomorrow morning if there's not a lot going on, but things have been kind of busy lately. They probably got a week to 10 days at least before they go before a judge.
We'll be back by then.
Probably. Okay. And then they'll ride off with the two guys, and the wagon riders are serving breakfast. And it's maybe a little bit better breakfast than before. One of them breaks out some eggs they had. So there's at least that. But they're like, after they eat and stuff and wipe down the horses and get them hitched up, it's like, all right, you guys ready to go?
Well, there's the business of the druid. You want to get them to where we need to go and then come back? This is part of the problem that we were paid to investigate.
Maybe just let them ride alone and we go and deal with the problem.
How far are we till your guys' destination? Talking to the lead guy or whoever's.
A couple of days.
All right. Why don't we go ahead and just make as much haste there, so that way you can get your load and we can get back, and then
Where was the cave or trove? Do you know that?
The what?
The Druid Trove. Do you know where that is? Is that close by?
You've got a general idea. It's yeah, it's in the swamp a ways. Because of the swamp, it would take you a while to walk there. Probably take you at least half a day, if not more, to walk there through the swamp.
From where we are now, right?
Yeah, from where you're at now.
I say we go there first.
Yeah, go there first, deal with the problem, Monsieur the Tavern. We'd probably say to go 5 miles, made a camp, and that's it for the day. And we would try to be back by when the day is over.
Well, the guy who's now in charge, he's like, look, we'll go. We're supposed to do what you guys want us to do, so we'll go wherever you want. I don't think we can get the wagons into the swamp.
No, I don't want.
But we can set up. But we can set up camp on the side of the road and wait for you to come back if you're needing to go investigate something or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, and have guards on all the time. Some guards.
Yeah, there's enough of us. We can stay awake. I mean, and it sounded like, well, you cut 2 of the guys and sound like you scared the rest of them, so we're not really expecting any more trouble.
Yeah, do that, and I would.
Of course, if you guys are gone and all of us are killed and all the wagons burnt, then the bosses are going to be mad. But
yeah, so
but we're not that worried about it.
Don't get burned and killed.
We'll try not to.
Okay, and I would do
So
that.
Are we staying here?
I guess we should go ahead and take care of the druid, or at least find out who he is or whatnot. And if we don't come back, I would say maybe they can send one of their guys back with word of what happened. Yeah.
If you're not bad in the morning, you can.
Well, one of the guys will remind you of this, and you'd probably know it anyway. Word will probably spread in Illumina when the 2 guards get back to town with the 2 guys. The authorities will know, and someone will probably let the logging folks know what's going on.
That's okay, I think. But let's find the fucking druid or wherever he is.
Okay. Well, the wagon folk are like, are we camping here then until you guys get back, or are we going on somewhere else and then setting up camp? What are we doing?
I would say camp around other farmers. That way you have a bigger group. Numbers will probably make you seem more defensible than just sitting out by yourself.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then
just offer them some gold or something like that. Whatever they use, we'll have the guild reimburse you or whatever.
I don't think that'll be necessary, but folks like that usually like the extra security on the road when they can get it.
Yeah. I mean,
so how about we just, since the wagons are hooked up and everything, how about we just start heading west in the direction we were going, and the next big group or fairly sizable group we run into, we'll try to set up with them for a day or 2 if we can.
We should be able to catch up with you as long as we're okay to move.
Yeah, and on the road, even though they're on wagons with horses, yeah, you could easily catch up with them.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So they're going to head west. And after a couple of miles, they will pass if you're going with them, they will pass the little path that apparently leads to Talus's place.
All right. Well, I guess I'll break off and start heading that way.
Yeah, we go that way to Trove or whatever it was.
Is everybody going that way?
Yeah, to the druid thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we decided, right? Take care of the druid, and then we'll catch up to the loggers.
Okay. Well, they'll keep going. They'll kind of watch you disappear in the woods. Yeah, you're not too far. There is a path, but it's definitely muddy. So your feet do sink a couple of inches into mud, and there is a little bit of water. But on either side of the path, there's definitely water and lily pads and moss, and it doesn't, for the most part, near the path. It doesn't look like it's that deep. Maybe a foot at the most in some places, but there's definitely plenty of water. And you do hear animal noises here and there. The path curves slightly to the east to your left, and then it straightens out and continues straight south. You're not picking up anything unusual other than animal noises in the distance. You are kind of surprised. Anybody who's got some wilderness background, you are kind of surprised you're not running across at least a few bigger animals. I mean, you would expect not to be attacked or anything, but you'd expect to at least see like alligators in the distance, or large turtles maybe, that sort of thing. And you're not seeing any of that. You do see plenty of small things like birds, and you'll see woodchucks and squirrels and stuff like that, but you're not seeing anything bigger.
Does it seem like any of the animals are the same animals, just kind of shadowing us?
Give me a perception roll.
All right. 16.
Absolutely not. It doesn't seem like they're paying any attention to you any more than they normally would anyway.
Okay.
And after, it takes a few hours because it's slow going in all this muck, you do spot a rise in the land. It is a little difficult to see. It's not dark, but there is some mist, and it's definitely darker in here. It's kind of dim light. Not a ton of sunlight gets through the ceiling or the swamp ceiling. But maybe 100 yards ahead of you through the swamp, you do see, it seems out of place. There's like a 2-story, rather large building that looks like it probably was a mansion of some kind. It sits on what you could classify as sort of a small island. It's old. It's not in good shape. There's definitely moss up and down the walls. The windows are all missing covering of any kind. There is a door. You're actually, from what you can tell of the building, you're probably facing the back of it. There is a door there, but I mean, somebody with a strength of 8 could probably kick this door in. It's old and falling apart. You do see signs of habitation, like somebody has lived here around the side fairly recently. There's like a clothesline strung up between 2 trees at one point in one place. There's a couple of like wooden crates or cages off to one side that look like maybe they held animals or something at some point. And you're not seeing smoke, but there is a fireplace. There's actually a couple of fireplaces in this place because it's so big. So it does look like someone has lived here or been here fairly recently. Probably in the last week sometime.
So is this the place old people live?
That would be your guess.
Yeah.
I'll take a step on the inside, open the door, and peek in.
Yeah, the door's not even. I mean, there's like a little rope that's holding the door closed, but it's not really even locked. You can just unhook that, and yeah, it's very simple on the inside. Again, it's obviously old and worn down. You actually come into a kitchen. There is a fireplace off to one side. It's not burning, of course, but you do see some sacks of what look like flour and things like that. And there's some jars of like kitchen goods and things, and some herbs and stuff along those lines. It looks like it's been cleaned as well as it can be, but yeah, it's still an old place in a swamp, so it's probably not someplace you'd want to live unless you had to.
Do I know what this was before? It was no.
Give me a history check if you've got it, or even if you don't, you can.
I got it. 14 plus. Let me see. 5, 21.
Yeah, you've heard stories in the past, like a century before. This used to not be swampland. It actually used to be farmland, and a landed gentry lived here. A lord who ran the lands and the farms. But slowly over the years and the decades, the swamp kept going further and further north until it took over the lands. And eventually the lord who was alive then basically abandoned the place because there was no more money to be made here. And it's just sat empty as far as anybody knows for probably 100 years.
Oh, so his line is dead? Or
moved on.
Okay.
Is the swamp natural? I mean, was it naturally formed, or did it?
It seems to be natural, and as far as what Hope knows of history, it's natural.
I just
There's never been any stories of it like being, it happens from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just trying to tell them that.
Okay.
What do you think the druid is?
No. Was there windows showing the front of the house? You can see to the front of the house?
Yeah, you can go to the front of the house, and there's actually a bit more land there, and it looks like it's been cleared somewhat. There actually is like a little fenced-in area that has some pigs in it. There's like 4 pigs. And there is like from the back, what you see at first, there's like this big wooden box kind of up on stilts about 3 feet off the ground. But from when you go around to the side, you can tell there's been like some like wooden lattice work has been put. It's basically a big chicken pen that's off the ground, and there's about a half dozen chickens in there. And there is another from the front. The front door is a little sturdier than the back one is, but it's still nothing. There is a little bit of a path here that actually goes into the swamp from the front door between the pigs and the chickens. And that path looks pretty dry and pretty good, but it disappears maybe 100 yards into the swamp. It's like it goes down into water. And there is like a little, almost like a little skiff or a small flatter rowboat kind of tied to a tree down where the road goes into the swamp.
Will it hold us 3?
Probably not. It would probably hold 2 of you fairly well. It might hold 3, but it would be real dicey. It's really like a little one-man.
300 pounds of gear.
Yeah, it's really like a one-man little fishing craft.
Okay. I take it we can't see any other terrain out that way, like whatever way the path is going?
It's just all swampy. It pretty much disappears down into the water, and the boat's tied up there.
You know what seems strange?
What's that?
For a farm, there would be somebody else here.
True.
It could be the family, but for the 2 old people, if they don't see anyone out.
That guy didn't really seem to care about his kids, did he?
Didn't seem like it.
I don't know.
They didn't even ask about him.
I want to search the house thoroughly.
Okay, give me an investigation or perception roll.
Well, perception's higher. That would be a 14.
You don't find anything that you wouldn't expect to find. I mean, there's a little bit of food. The only money you find 4 whole silver pieces stuffed in a little drawer in an upstairs bedroom. I mean, it's there is not a basement.
You don't build basements in swamps.
Oh, it wasn't a swamp
Well,
always. Is there an attic?
There is an attic. Yeah,
Can we
and
get up there?
yeah, you can get up there. I won't even make you roll. All you find is some old furniture, really old furniture. And it's so old and probably been soggy at one time or another. It's pretty much ruined, so it wouldn't have any value. But unless you're even if you're not an expert, you can probably tell this was probably really nice furniture at one time, but a very long time ago. Now it's like falling apart if you even like touch it. You know, an old bed, like the leg will fall off or something like that.
Okay. Does there seem to be any kind of like, is there any carpets downstairs? That would might have like a trap door or anything like that?
No, the floors are wooden, even rotting in some places, but not quite to the point of falling through. There are definitely signs that the floor has been replaced in some places. And you do find some rugs, but they're not on the floors. They're like folded up, like they don't want to leave them on the floors or something.
What about like old pictures or shelving?
No.
Library, anything like that?
You'll find shelving. You do not find any books there. You will find a little bit of paper. Even some writing with like pencil or something on some of the paper, but it mainly looks to be like simple arithmetic. Like it's probably sort of where he keeps his accounts for the farm or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not making a lot of money. I mean, they're getting by on probably less than 100 gold a year.
Wow, that was a good bonus I gave him then.
Yeah.
Let's see. Can we find?
Well, I have no
the
intention
mushrooms?
of stealing anything. So
No. Can we find the mushroom patch?
Oh, yeah. If you go outside and look around over, not next to the swamp, not too far from the pigs, there's almost what you might think of as a little garden. It's obviously been built up. It's like he's piled dirt here, and it's a fairly sizable area, like 30 by 30. And it seems to be where he's what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a refuse pit, but it's like
compost.
Yeah, it's kind of like a compost area, and you can definitely, there's some mushrooms still there, and he's definitely picked through it. But you would also guess, being in the middle of the swamp, he probably picks mushrooms from kind of all over.
Yeah.
But this seems to be like his main sort of area where he gets mushrooms from.
Well, really only seems one path, and that's taking the skiff out and just checking around. Or
yeah, now you can walk straight through the swamp, or at least it looks like you can. But yeah, you might sink down a foot or so, and it's going to be slow going.
I don't want to. I don't want to be dirty.
Well, do you have prestidigitation?
Nope.
it's fine. I'll wade the waters.
we could use the boat as a kind of flotation, kind of anchor. Let the horned devil here right up in it. I don't care. At least the boat, hold on to the boat will keep us above the water just a little bit more than normal. We can hold on to it while we move.
Yeah, and there's not even, if you look at the boat, there's not even an oar. There's just like a big stick.
Yeah.
There's a 10-foot pole.
Well, let's get to work. Might as well get moving because we're wasting daylight here. I don't want to be stuck out in the middle of the bush.
Yeah, it's about the middle of the day. So you guys are taking out with Hope in the boat?
That's fine. If he's gonna worry about getting dirty, then that's fine. I don't care.
Okay. Let's see.
I'll probably lay some cloth down and needle so I don't fall.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you can do that. You are going to find the boat's not the dirtiest or necessarily the driest in the world either, but it's better than nothing. And so you guys head out. I'm taking it the other two of you are just walking along beside the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Kind of want to hang on to the boat and use my feet to kind of like keep it forward as fast as we can.
okay.
You know what I mean?
It's still very slow going. I mean, like I said, it's like quarter movement. And the one kid did say the druid was about 5 miles west of this place. So it's probably going to take you the rest of the day to get there. Pretty much. I mean, it may not be dark by the time you get there, but it probably won't be too long before dark by the time that you get there. But you guys push off in that direction.
Yep.
Okay. Man, you guys are getting lucky. Okay. Nothing attacks you or weird happens on the way there. And let's take a 5-minute break.
All right.
I'll be back. All right.
Yeah, sure.
Hmm.
Hello?
Hi.
It's probably a tar game when I come home then from this game. You said it was weekly, right?
Yeah. And for those listening, it's a downtime event, not an actual card game.
Yeah.
Okay, is everybody back?
I am.
Sounds like Chapo's not back yet.
Yeah. You're probably right.
I just want to specify that I'm not walking through. I'm kind of using the 10-foot pole. I threw all my stuff into the boat,
Okay.
which isn't much, and I'm just using the pole to push myself along, and I'm kind of floating in the water.
Well, the water's only like a foot deep in most places.
It's better than walking in it.
Back in action, fellas.
Okay. So you guys have been traveling. You're tired, you're wet, you're probably muddy, even if you don't want to be. The mosquitoes are biting, making you itch. And there's enough sunlight to see by, but it's not real bright in most places. And getting towards the end of the day, it's still a couple of hours until nighttime, but you can see off in the distance through the swamp what appears to be almost a hill. Not huge, but it's almost a hill, and it's kind of strange because it's just like, it's like a field on this hill. It's just like green grass. There's a couple like elm trees on top of it. It really does not look like someplace that should be in a swamp. It's not a real high hill, but it's definitely above the water line. Say 10 feet or so, the gradual climb up to it. And you can see this from a fairly good distance away, probably 100 yards or so. You start catching sight of it. And there's definitely sunlight there. Because there's not nearly as many trees as to be blocking the sun out.
Okay.
And the swamp. From a distance, you don't see anybody moving around.
What about animals?
No, you do not see any animals.
Is there still birds and stuff making noise around us?
Yeah, there still are.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see birds and a squirrel and things like that.
All right, I'm going to put the 10-foot pole that I was using up along. And could I reach the swamp?
Reach what?
The bottom of the swamp's ground.
Where you're at?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just reach down through like a foot of water and.
Okay, I'm gonna look to Rev Jack and Hope, and I say I'll take a look around to see what I can find. And I'm just gonna pull myself across the water, around, mostly submerged.
Okay. Well, give me a stealth check.
One skill I didn't take.
Everyone?
You're the sneaky guy, and you didn't take stealth.
I wanted to make things interesting. I still got 20 though.
Okay.
Modified.
Oh. Okay, a modified 20. Okay, and give me give me a perception check.
Just 10.
Okay. You get closer to this island, and you can see where the swamp gradually gives way, and the ground becomes drier, and then becomes grass. This hill gradually rises about 10 feet up. There's a few trees up there, creating a little shaded area. You're not seeing anyone, but it's not impossible someone could be hiding behind a tree, or something could be hiding behind a tree. If you travel around a little bit, you could tell that this little island is about 100-foot square. Literally like it is an island. The swamp goes all the way around it and continues on the other side. Not on the side of the swamp you guys came in on, but on the side of the island you came in on. But I'm just going to take it you're looking around some. But on the other side, you actually do see another little trail that seems to be above the water a little bit that goes from the island and continues west. And next to this trail are a couple of small, rough, rugged, leaning buildings. You would almost call them shacks. They look like they've pretty much been put together by old lumber and pieces of tree pulled out of the swamp and vines and things like that. Does not look very professionally done at all. It's very rough. Something very unskilled people put together to kind of make some sort of shelter for themselves. But you don't see any signs there of anyone living. There's no people, no animals. There's not any signs of fire or anything like that. You do notice out in the swamp, you're still hearing animal sounds and stuff like that. But from the island itself, up where the trees are, some of the birds like fly in and land on the trees and then go off, but you don't see any other kinds of animal life up there.
Myself towards shacks, see if I can't get a closer look at them.
Okay, you can go towards the shacks. As you're doing that, you're still swimming. You hear a voice, and it's kind of a high-pitched voice. Not quite a woman's voice, but sort of along those lines. And it seems to be coming from the hill, but you don't see anybody up there. And this voice says, "Oh, well, it's finally time some of you guild types showed up. I've been waiting a month for you to get here. You're getting slow."
Is he talking to anyone?
You don't see anyone, so you can't really tell what direction they're facing, but it definitely was loud enough for you to hear.
I'll just lay low in case they were.
I'll just move up towards the top of the hill.
Yeah, I'm gonna move with him and I take my club out.
I'm not gonna take any weapons out right now. Just
okay. You get to the bottom of the hill where the swamp ends, and there's dry ground in front of you. And then you hear the voice say, "Oh, the timid sort. Well, come closer. I don't recognize you, though I am pretty sure you must be members of the Unnamed Adventurers Guild. I was hoping some of my old friends would show up, but I guess you must be newer members."
probably so.
Come.
I move up. Like, who might you be?
Well, if you climb your way to the top of my grove, we will meet.
All right.
You still don't see anybody.
No, just keep going until I get to the top, I guess. I am going to be watching for any kind of traps or anything like that.
What's Hope doing?
I'm gonna follow him, but I'll probably give him 10 feet lead or something like that.
Okay. Is Dirk going to keep laying low?
I'm going to pull out my short bow and keep it under the water, but I'm going to be just sticking my head out.
Okay. Rev Jack, you'll see it first. When you get to the top of the hill, there's like 3 trees. And they're not gigantic, but they're big enough around that you could see the way they were either grown or planted or built or whatever, however they were put here. It's almost like it was intentional to create a hiding spot. There's not a pit or a hole or anything. It's just once you get to the top, you realize, okay, if somebody stands or is sitting right in the middle of this hill, they're pretty much hidden from all around because of the way these trees are set up.
Okay.
But once you're at the top, you can see in the middle of this hill, this grassy hill. There's like been a rug laid down, a fairly nice rug, and sitting in the middle of it, cross-legged, is a halfling. And he's got leather armor on, and he's got a green hat, like a little Robin Hood kind of hat with a little red feather sticking out of it. And he looks up at you and he says, "Oh, well, allow me to introduce myself. I am Claude Leafblower. And who might you be?"
I am Revjack.
Revjack. And am I correct that you're with the Unnamed Adventurers Guild?
You are?
Ah, very well. Nice to meet you. He will kind of lean forward and put his hands on the ground, brings his legs back, and jumps up on his feet. And he's like, "I've been waiting for you people to show up. I knew they'd send you out sooner or later. They always do."
With that said, how can we help you? Or actually, I ask you why you are disrupting the loggers.
Well, it's kind of my thing because I don't like it when people hurt nature. So that's kind of what I normally do. But really, this time it was to get you guys to come out because I wanted you here. And believe it or not, well, I don't want to kill you, and hopefully it won't come to that, but I need you to kill me.
Why is that?
Well, that's for me to know. That's my business. But since you kind of are sort of, normally you guild people are like the do-gooder types, you probably won't just kill me unless I attack you or something. Am I right? Yeah, you can hear it. He's talking loud enough.
Okay.
Yeah, more than likely, yeah, but...
Okay, so we have to do it the hard way. Because
I think... hold on. Before you attack me, I have to have a good reason to kill you. I mean, are you in pain? Are you almost gonna die and you just don't want to go out like a bitch? Or, I mean, can you give me something?
I'm perfectly healthy. I'm just tired of this body. But since we'll have to do it your way, I suppose. And he'll take a couple of steps to the left. He does not appear to have any weapons on him that you can see. He does have a gold ring on one finger. You will notice that. And he reaches down and picks up the little rug he was sitting on, and he starts folding it up. He folds it up nice and neat and then sets it over next to the tree. And he's like, "Okay, before we do this, I just want to ask, like, one time, I want to try to simplify this. Would you just take your sword out and, like, cut my head off or something? It would make things a lot easier."
Easier for what? For you to transform? For you to die?
Well, for me to die, and it would probably save you a lot of pain.
I would like to come out of the water now.
Okay.
I'm going to go stand behind him.
Are you trying to do so stealthily?
I asked him one more because I said, "Say, if I kill you, will it save more people in my guild?"
I don't know. I mean, I'm not like, I'm not real happy with some of the members of your guild, but I'm not like on a vendetta like to destroy the guild or anything like that.
So you're just trying to get noticed? Is that what it is?
No, I'm just trying to get dead.
Why don't tell yourself?
All right, what can I do besides killing you at this moment? And no, hold on, don't get frustrated. Just hear me out. Before we start beating the shit out of each other and some of us die or whatever, I mean, he's like, outside of the game, I'm having a big, like, problem, and I'm fighting myself, like, with my will. one half of me is like, I just want to unfurl my shit and just smash the shit out of them, you know. But the other half of me is like, I don't want to do that because then that like makes I feel like my character will get like dark side points or something. You know what I mean?
No, well, I wouldn't give them to you.
Fuck it. I'll start. I'll pull out my chain and ball and like, okay, if this is what you want.
Got like a 5.
Oh, okay.
Try with me. I attack.
Just out of turn to meta a little bit. What do you think I'm doing? If you want to say.
Oh, I don't want to meta because if I do that, then it kind of spoils it.
Okay, we can save it for later, or if possible. Okay, you take out your sword.
No, I got my meteor ball or a meteor hammer, I should say.
Oh, okay. And as soon as you do that, he like stomps on the ground with his little right foot and smiles real big and wide. And he's like, and now we get to have fun.
I'm like, let's get to work then.
Okay. The ground in front of you explodes. Remember, he stepped off to one side and moved his little thing. So the ground about 10 feet in front of you literally explodes, and dirt and grass goes flying up out of the ground, all over the place. I mean, it doesn't hurt you or anything like that. And you're kind of surprised for a second, but not enough for anything to get an attack on you. But pulling itself out of the ground is a really big creature that none of you have ever seen before. It's about 12 feet tall, muscular, huge, covered in reptilian-type scales, has glowing red eyes, and 2 huge curved horns coming out of the head. It might appear somewhat demonic, but you're not necessarily getting that vibe. I mean, you're not smelling sulfur or anything like that. But it's basically pulling itself up out of the ground, and the halfling Claude is off to the side giggling. We can either go into rounds, or you guys can turn and run away, or whatever you want to do.
I like to fight it.
Just roll an initiative, huh?
Okay. Roll initiative.
All right.
Time to roll poorly.
I got a 17.
Dirk got a 5. Hope got an 11. And, okay, Chapo got a 17. So Rev Jack's going to go first.
All right. So, is the halfling within 10 feet of me?
He probably more like 15 feet, just barely outside of that.
Okay. So I'm gonna sidestep 5 feet to where he's within range, and I'm still with range of this thing. And I'm gonna attack this thing with my sweeping strike. I'm gonna use a superiority dice. That's an 8, but I gotta make an attack roll for this thing. So it is 22.
Yeah, that'll definitely hit.
All right. So 11 points to him. And
Okay.
would a 22 hit the halfling?
Yes.
All right, and he takes another 7 points of damage.
7?
So
Okay.
it hits the creature, and it hits the halfling for 7 points of damage also.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna backstep. Actually,
Unless you've got a special ability, the creature would get an attack of opportunity on you.
okay. No. Actually, if I sidestep another 5 feet, I would be within 5 feet of the halfling, but still within combat range of the beast, right?
Yeah, they're pretty much fairly close to each other.
Okay. I'll do that.
Okay,
And
you're
then,
still within his melee or whatever.
Yeah. Let's see. I guess that would be it. My turn.
Okay, it would now be Hope's turn.
I didn't think it was my turn now. Huh? I got a Tazilla on my club to do the magic.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try to attack the big thing.
Okay, roll to hit.
With a green flame blade. 13 to hit.
That will miss.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 13. Yes. Yeah, that is my turn then.
Okay. Sorry. Since it is now the monster's turn, and since Hope ran right up to it, the monster is going to roar at him in his face. And he's going to make 2 claw attacks at Hope. He gets a 21 and a 24. Do those hit?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Hope takes 28 points of slashing damage.
Okay. I can use a reaction, right?
I used my reaction.
Okay.
To, made a shield of 60 temporary hit points. And my next turn, I do not do reaction or action unless my fin is, what do you call it? It's the shield is disappeared, so I lose my action. I cannot move either. How much?
On your neck?
How much?
It was 28 points.
So I have 32 temporary hit points.
Okay.
So.
And did someone else have a question?
Yeah, I get a reaction of, I have Sentinel, so I get a attack at the beast since he attacked, what's his name's character?
Hope.
I rolled a 26 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. And let's see. I do another 10 points of damage to him.
Okay. He will roar in your face. And Claude is going to go now. And he's kind of giggling like almost maniacally. And he closes his eyes even after he got hit. And he raises his hands up in front of his face, almost like he's praying. Or maybe like he's doing some kind of spell. And that gold ring that's on his hand starts to glow. And that's his action. And now it will be Dirk's action.
Is that a fireball ring?
No.
Well, I'm not going to pretend I'm not distracted by the giant with horns. So I am going to attack him.
With your bow?
Yeah.
I'll give you advantage on it because you kind of have him from behind.
Okay.
If you want it.
Well, is 17 going to hit?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just roll advantage to see if I crit. Yeah, I got 16 naturally, so. Bow is only a d6 for a total of, and I'm going to do a sneak attack. 2.
Okay.
So 10 damage.
Oh, wow. Okay. He takes an arrow in the back and howls in pain.
I'm then going to move behind a tree.
Okay. Are you technically hiding or just moving there for?
I want to break line of sight with it, but
Oh, okay.
besides that, no.
Okay.
Are
It's
you
now
within
top.
5 feet of the creature?
So I'm 5 feet with a bow.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Within 30.
Yeah. Yeah. And Hope is, and when you are within 5 feet of it. Top of the round, it's now Revjek's turn again.
All right, so I'm gonna do another sweeping attack, and drop a security die. I'll attack the creature. 22 to hit.
That'll hit.
All right. Hit from 15 points of damage to the creature, and Claude takes 8 points of damage.
Okay. Anything else? Bonus action or anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, it's Hope's turn again.
Yeah, I don't know, do action or reaction on my turn, and my temporary hit was drove to 0. And
Okay.
that was that.
Okay, so you can't do anything. It will be the monster's turn again. This time it's going to turn toward Revjek, since he's the one who's done the most damage to him. He's going to take 2 swings at him with his... No, he's not going to use his claws. He's actually going to lower his head and try to headbutt him with the horns that are on top of his head.
Hell yeah.
He got an 18. Does that hit you?
Hits me right on the spot. Damn it.
Okay. Let's see. You take 11 points of bludgeoning damage, and I need you to make a strength check. Or,
Yes.
yeah, a strength saving throw.
Okay. All right. I rolled a 17 on the saving throw, and you said I take 11 points of damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. On the saving throw, you're good, but you're fairly strong. You rooted yourself in the ground. You pretty much realize if you hadn't been as strong as you were and as lucky as you were, he probably would have knocked you back down the hill.
Yes.
More than likely, at least 5 to 10 feet, if not all the way down the hill.
I'm like, hell yeah. That's awesome.
And Claude pretty much keeps doing what he's doing. He's sitting there with his eyes closed, his smile's growing wider, his ring's glowing brighter, and it's now Dirk's turn again.
Hit the halfway. No.
Yes. It's Dirk's turn if he's there.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Is oh crap. Is Revjak 5 feet away from the halfling?
Yes.
Yeah, he's kind of not quite between the two, but sort of.
All right. I'm going to move within 30 feet and shoot my short bow at him.
At which one?
The halfling.
Okay. Roll to hit.
All right. That's a nat 20.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
My intention is to subdue, though.
Oh, okay.
My first set of rolls is 12 piercing.
Okay.
And my second set is double sixes for 12. So 24 in total.
24 total. He is still standing.
Prized.
Yeah, you do see his smile falters a little bit. He kind of winces like he's in pain, but he's still keeping his eyes closed. Let's see. Oh yeah, he made that. Okay, he's still standing there doing his thing. But your arrow did make him bleed a whole lot. There's blood pouring out of him. Oh, excuse me. It's Revjek's turn again.
All right. Time to kick ass. Let's see. I'm gonna do sweeping attack again.
Okay.
Attack the monster, and then it's gonna hit with, you know the deal. Attack the monster. Nat 20. Holy shit.
Ooh.
Oh, that's gonna hurt like a motherfucker right there. Alright, so you took 5. So that was 12. 17 points of damage.
Okay.
And then Butterball is gonna take another 4 points of damage. And then
Okay. They're both still standing, but they both look in pretty bad shape.
All right. Well, then on my action surge, and I'm gonna attack Butterball full on. Roll a 17 to hit him.
That'll hit.
All right. And he takes 14 points of damage.
Okay. He drops.
Clang him in his damn head. And that's my round.
Okay. The halfling goes down. As he's laying there bleeding, his ring is still glowing. Hope, it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm going to try to attack the monster with my dream, using a dream flame blade.
Okay.
I roll an 18 on the die, that's 26 to hit.
That'll hit.
Then I'm gonna do some damage here. Oh, that was low. 1 bludgeoning damage, 2 fire damage, 11 necrotic damage.
So 14 altogether?
Yeah, and I'm gonna take 5 necrotic damage myself. Yeah.
Okay. It's still standing. You hit it in the face with your club. It's still standing. It's looking pretty bad. And it's turn now.
Yeah.
And it looks over and sees Claude go down. It throws its head up in the air and roars out. And then it looks at Hope and Revjack, and it opens its mouth, and a great big cone of fire comes out. I need the two of you to make dexterity saves.
18. I have an 18 save. So.
Okay. What Revjack? Oh, 17. Is that your roll, Chapo? Okay. You both made it, so you both take 6 points of fire damage. You took half damage, basically.
And I'm fire resistant, so I did half, right?
Yeah. So you'd only take 3 then.
And I'd like to use a reaction.
Okay.
To cast Hellish Rebuke.
Okay. What's the DC?
16. This save.
Okay. He didn't make it, so he's on fire. How much damage does he take?
12 fire damage.
Okay. The fire springs up around him and burns him, and he starts shrinking, not literally shrinking, but he starts shrieking and kind of falling back in the hole that he exploded out of, and the fire pretty much turns the monster to ash, and he is gone. Over where Claude's body is, he's dead, so he's laying there. The ring keeps glowing.
Need to pull off. That's possible.
Well, the ring then stops glowing, and about 5 feet away from him, to what would be his left and sort of Revjack's right, about 5 feet away from him, At first, it's weird to see what's happening, but there's something happening on the ground. There's kind of like a swirling of smoke with a little bit of bluish light in it. And then a body starts forming on the ground. Like, it's almost like atoms from the air are coming together and creating this body. And if Dirk wants to act, by the way, he can, but I'm kind of taking it we're out of rounds. Or if anybody else of you want to do something.
Do you have any idea how to stop this yet?
I'm gonna take the ring off the body.
Yeah. Already.
Okay.
Did I not do that?
Oh, yeah, you said you did. And the ring had already stopped glowing anyway. But basically a body forms, and it's another halfling. But it's a slightly larger halfling. And it's a male, and it's just laying there naked. And it's breathing.
I'm gonna ask, are we killing this one too?
I don't know. I'm almost tempted for him to just wake up and realize he's not that much different from what he was before.
I'm trying to say to the others, maybe I go down here and see what this ring does while he's waiting up. If that's okay with you. And I'm gonna begin to go down off the hill and cast Identify on the ring. As a ritual. Sorry.
Okay, you cast Identify on the ring. It's just a gold ring.
How can it fucking light up?
It's a very nice gold ring.
I kill the halfling. I pull up my short sword.
What do you do? What do you do?
Sword, and I'm going to stab the halfling in the heart.
Oh, the new halfling?
Yes.
Okay, I won't even make you make a roll for it. I'll jump back to 3rd edition and just say you do a coup de grace on it if that's what you're trying to do. Okay, and right as your short sword goes in its chest, its eyes kind of pop open, and sort of a little hiss of air comes out of its mouth. It's like, I didn't expect that to happen, and then it dies.
Pull it out.
I'm like, yes! Ah! Little bastard. Like, give my rope back.
It's a damn
Take my
shame.
rope back. Fucker. All right, so the area that monster was at, is there anything around there? Like, I dig the ground a little bit. Is there like a little anything over there that I find?
Oh, down in the hole?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you do find it's not. It's about 10 feet down, so it's. But I mean, he exploded up, so you can climb down and get to it pretty easy. There is. It's not quite a chest. It's almost like a small casket, but there is sort of like a wooden box down there, and it has a clasp on it, but there's not really a lock, so you can open it up.
Open it up.
Okay, you find another halfling size set of leather armor. You find a short bow and a quiver with 20 arrows, a short sword, and a dagger. The short bow and the short sword appear to be exceptionally well made. Let me put it that way. But the arrows and the dagger are just stuff you could buy in Illumina or whatever. And that's, well, and you'll find a little pouch with 29 gold pieces in it.
Sweet.
And that's all you find down
I'm
in
going
there.
to go search.
What about underneath the box? There's nothing underneath the box or anything.
Just dirt.
Okay. And the monster, there's no trace of it at all? Not even like a little
Yeah, there's some like claws and some flesh and things like that. Probably say 3/4 of it's been turned into ash. But yeah, there's like one of its horns is left and some pieces of flesh and things like that here and there.
I'll take the horns and I'll take the horn and the claws.
Okay. You can get one of each.
Okay.
And what was Dirk doing?
I'm gonna go search those shacks.
Give me a investigation roll.
16.
Okay. Mostly you'll find just a couple of like mats made out of straw or vines or something, very rudimentary on dirt floor. You will find a couple of old, small, curved, rusty daggers. Looks like somebody left behind or dropped. And you will find one little pouch with 14 whole copper pieces in it.
Rich bitch!
I pick it up.
Hell to the yeah.
I don't put it into my belt pouch, but I just hold on to it.
It's drinking money.
I gonna go up to the halfling with Jell first and gonna search his body about he have anything on him.
I'm gonna climb out the hole also.
Just the one halfling, you just find leather armor on him that's been cut up now.
I'm gonna pull the boat halfling into the hole and start casting spells down there to burn it.
Okay.
The bodies.
Yeah, Dirk can do that. Do any of you have wilderness skill or anything like that?
I have survival.
Okay.
Nature.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not even going to make you roll for it. But you realize where you're at. It is getting pretty close to dark now. But you realize where you've moved and where you're at. If what you know of the road is correct and the map is kind of right that was drawn out for you, it would actually be easier to get out of here by heading west. Like I said, there was a little dirt path going from the hill into the swamp. It looks like it would be a lot shorter to get back to the road that way than it would to go back the way you came.
Okay. Sounds good.
Easy enough.
Okay.
Awesome.
Rest here.
I bring all that stuff out, and I give the shorebow to Darkwing Duck there because I don't remember his name. Sorry, dude. But it's a. I said I give it to him. He's like, "Hey, it's a good shortbow, but I'm gonna keep the short sword."
And I said, let me tell
the
you
other.
out about us anything magic about it if there is. So let me try to loot at that first.
What are you looking at?
I asked him to give me the stuff so I could loot about is magic or not by identify it.
Oh, okay. I hand over the sword.
Okay. Were you handing over the short bow also to get looked at?
I think so. I don't know.
Well, I gave the shortbow to Dirk.
Yeah, I'll hand it over to Hope.
Okay.
Use it.
And I made a pentagram and some oil or something and tried to do a ritual.
Okay. You can do a ritual. Shoot. And the short bow is actually a magical short bow. It's a +1 short bow.
Hell yeah.
And the short sword is not technically magical, but it's made out of adamantine.
Sick.
Which,
that's my pig sticker.
You're right.
To be honest, I forget what that does, but I think it's in the Xanathar's Guide somewhere.
Isn't that like versus like creatures that need to be damaged by silver, like werewolves and stuff like that? Something?
I don't know if it does that, but I do know the weapon is extra strong.
Yeah, it's so you don't break or something like that.
Yeah.
Hell to the yeah.
It may not be as impressive as it sounds like.
And
I don't
you
know.
thought it's-
That's my pig sticker.
You thought it's probably a lot of money worth. But does that mean to him it's like one coin is like 1,000
Yeah,
gold?
yeah, because that's what Hope needs is another influx of cash.
No, I'm just saying to him it's probably a lot of worth. But it also be it's just metal inside and it's layered with antimonium outside. I don't know how the weapon is built up.
Well, shit. I forgot to write down the page for adamantine weapons and just realized there's no index in the backs of the Xanthar's guide. Great.
No.
Oh.
Not. I'm also not seeing it under the magic items.
I'm looking it up online just to see if I can pull some out.
Oh, yeah. I've got the actual book. It might be easier to do it online.
Oh shit! It says whenever an adamantine weapon or a piece of ammunition hits an object, the hit is a critical hit. Against creatures, it's just a normal. Oh, whenever. Excuse me. I might not have read all that. What it's supposed to. Hold on. I don't know. I gotta keep looking. Let's see.
Maybe it was in the player's handbook. I thought it was in the Xanthar's guide, though. But I mean, I know I saw it just in the last couple of days. I should have wrote down what it does.
Well,
But
see,
I wasn't.
I have the guide on in the PDF. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Maybe it'll pop up.
I also seen that it.
Here it is. It's an ultra hard metal. Let's see. Melee weapons and ammunition made of adamantine are unusually effective when used to break objects. Whenever an adamantine weapon or piece of ammunition hits an object, the hit is a critical hit.
Oh.
The adamantine version of a melee weapon, GP more than normal, whether the weapon or ammunition is made of the metal or is coated with it. So it really doesn't do much in combat.
But I mean, my door breaker.
Yeah, that's basically what that is. That's your door lock breaker.
Hell yeah, that's my key. That's what I'm calling it from now on. It's my key. Sweet.
So it's just coated with adamantine. It's not made out of gold.
If I'm not mistaken, Airywood sells
what?
adamantine. Airywood sells 1,000 per adamantine coin.
Yeah.
Perhaps you get more value out of selling it.
Hmm.
Yeah, that'd be nice money. It's also
that'd be
nice
great,
to have
I could definitely use a set of fucking plate.
But you said it's only was coated with antimonium, right? Not purely.
Well, by the book, it's worth 500 gold, but if you can find a higher buyer for it, an adamantine.
Yeah, but did the book say it was coated or purely antimonium?
Either one.
Okay. Because it would be more worth if it's totally antimonium.
Is this sword pure adamantine or is this coated?
Yeah, yes, it's pure.
Okay.
But as far as the books goes, that doesn't make a difference.
Okay. I'll try and find me a merchant. I don't know. I kind of like it being my key though. Oh.
Your little lock picker. That's your thieves tools. That's your thieves tools right there.
They're in there.
I try to tell him I sold the quarter stuff some time ago and I got a lot of money out of that. This is good. You can maybe ask Pinterest about how much you want to buy it for.
Like super rich.
Who?
You are?
Me?
Yes.
Absolutely. But our Trotter staff is also a lot better.
I hope as soon as I entered the city, there's a lot of people who would try and talking about stealing from you.
I'm just saying, be careful about this weapon. It's a lot worse.
That's fine. They try to steal
Yeah.
that bitch and break their head.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So night's coming on. Are you guys going to stay there for the night? Are you going back to the road, or
I would
back
rather
the way
go
you
back to the
came?
road. Who knows?
Okay.
Who knows if this fucker's gonna grow again and pop up? You never know. And one of his little dragon buddies or whatever the hell it was.
Believe it or not, you can actually make it to the. You can actually make it to the road in just a couple hours.
Okay.
So
I'd rather go to the road.
And the path you're on is pretty dry most of the way.
So let's do it.
So you're actually probably, when you get to the road, you can kind of figure out, since one of you has nature and wilderness and stuff, you can probably figure out you're about a day now ahead of where you last left the wagons.
So the
I just want to say, I'm not. If they're going to the road, I'm not going with them.
Okay.
You're gonna stay there?
I'm going to take the boat back.
Okay. Where are you going with the boat?
Because back.
So
Oh,
you
back to the house?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. You can do that. It'll definitely be middle of the night or dark by the time you get there. Okay, you're setting up camp. Alex is, Dirk sets up camp, so the next morning he can get up and take the boat back, which will take him a few hours to do. Are the other two of you going to the road, or are you going to try to go with him and slog back through the swamp?
Are you sure you want to take the boat back to the damn house, man? I'm asking.
Well, to be fair, they offered this service for free, and honestly, if we just leave it here, there's no way for them to get it back safely. It's the least we can do.
We could carry the boat with us. I mean, is it too heavy for us to carry?
No, not really.
I mean, I'm like, look, I'll carry it on my back.
I mean, two of you could
Deliver-
probably
We
Two
can
of
deliver it back to him. You know.
two of you could carry it fairly easily, and depending on Revjek's strength, he might be able to carry it on his own.
Yeah, 20.
It shouldn't be a difficulty. I'll take it back there, and I'll meet you at the logging camp.
The point is, I don't want to split up the party.
What,
You might go
afraid
back
you'll
and
die?
you might. What's that?
You afraid you'll die?
Without you, yes.
I'm gonna say, just wait here, and I'm gonna time a rope into the fin and just fly it, and I'm gonna fly with the fin and pull it.
Yeah, and how long does fly last?
10 minutes. Up to 10 minutes.
And how fast can you move when you fly?
60 feet. If that does.
Okay.
150 feet if that does.
How much if you dash?
120.
I mean, we're talking about miles here.
Let me see.
I mean, it's only like a few miles, but it's still miles.
I don't
You're not
know
gonna get very
how many feet is on a mile.
2,000 something.
Yeah,
And
you're gonna
how many
be
seconds
casting
on a round?
I said while you're flying.
Yeah,
How many? What do you call it? How many seconds is on a round?
Fuck it.
Several.
I'll go back with you to the house. I'm not gonna leave you. I'm not gonna fucking split.
You see, 1 minute is probably 10 turns, right?
It's going to take you a long time. Let's just put it that way. You would have to cast fly multiple times.
Yeah, I have 2 times I can test and rest 1 hour and test 2 times more. Let me see. That's 120. That's 1,000. So 2 minutes to 2,000 feet I have to move. Then I have to move. About 1,008 minutes. So I have to move 10,000 feet at 10 minutes.
Okay, so
11,000. I don't know how many feet I need to move.
hold on, I'll find out right now. It's 5,280 feet in a mile, so you would move 2 miles.
Yeah, you still wouldn't be there.
Then you'd fall in the water.
But if I tested 2 times, I would be there, right?
Yeah, and then you'd be out of fly spells and
Yeah.
be by yourself.
I've done rest 1 hour and fly back then. I did my spells up after 1 hour. That would go a lot faster, right?
It's up to them.
I'm gonna ask, do I need to fly this back? Or I would probably be here about 2 hours again.
I don't know what you're capable of.
How much is a boat? We're just buying a boat. We get back to town because they're gonna be in town for like 2 weeks or something. I just buy them a boat.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I would just buy a fucking boat too.
I just
I
buy
don't
them a
want-
boat. I'll buy them a better boat.
Yeah.
With a gnome engine on it or something.
So what are you guys doing? Are you flying the boat back, rowing the boat back, leaving the boat there and buying a new boat, or waiting for the family to come back and slaughtering them so they don't have to worry about the boat?
A rowboat is 50 gold pieces. I will buy them a rowboat when we get back. It's like, come on, let's just go.
Yeah, I'm go with them. I don't wanna distress about the fucking boat anymore.
Yeah.
Burn the boat.
Okay. Well, I don't know if Alex is coming back or not this time. But I'll just say the boat situation is taken care of. You're going to buy him a new boat. You guys head to the road. It'll take about a day to kind of meet up with the wagons again.
Okay.
And they'll be thrilled to hear you've... Okay. Alex is back. They were just going to buy the guy a boat when they see him again. Is that cool for Dirk?
We can also bring a boat when we go bad with the caravan, right? We need to go back with them again, right?
Yeah, you've got to finish their road.
Yeah, I mean,
we go up there and we need to go back with them too, or we could go alone.
You don't have. It wasn't part of the contract that you have to go back to Illumina with them,
Okay.
but you are expected to continue the path on to where the logging's being done.
oh,
So
okay.
you're going to have to back. I mean, that was originally part of the contract. But
Yeah, I understand. I just
is Dirk there?
Yeah, I just got back. I'm DCing a lot.
Is he? Is Dirk okay with them just buying the guy a boat when they see him again?
It's more about the principle of it, but if they just
Okay,
want to
well-
buy him a boat, he has no problem against it
I mean, it would be a new boat.
on at this point.
Okay. Well, long story short, you guys got back to the road. You're about a day ahead of where you left the wagons at, so you can backtrack to them, and you would get there by about nightfall. And they're thrilled to hear that you've taken care of the situation or whatever. they're still 2 days ahead to. Okay, Alex is having problems apparently, so it's still 2 days to get to the logging. I'm just going to say you guys can do it. And then once you get there, the foreman on site will actually pay each of you 90 gold pieces.
Okay.
And each of your 10 gold representing each of you will also be given to guild, but they'll take care of that in town, so you don't have to fool with it.
Okay.
So each of you got 90 gold.
Oh, I give. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll tell them after.
Okay, and then and you fulfilled your contract. You do not have to go back with them to Illumina now. But yeah, they're going to load the wagons up and take them to Illumina. So that'll take a couple of days. If you want to wait and go back with them, you can, but you're not expected to. You know, the foreman says if you want to go back, you know, typical guard, they'll make sure you get like an extra 10 gold each or whatever. Just doing sort of typical guard duty if you want to. Or you can set out on foot immediately and not worry about it. Either way, it's going to take you about 4 days to get back to Illumina.
Is there a horse there?
If you want to buy one, sure.
How much do a horse buy? Just 50 or something like that?
There's not really riding horses there. There are draft horses.
Yeah, how much?
They'll sell you a draft horse for 50 gold. But, you know, it's faster than walking, but...
Yeah, I'm just...
It's not as fast as a riding horse.
Yeah, I just move with the other people then.
Okay. You're just staying on foot.
Yeah, I think so. And I need to
Okay.
get very bad because the trial maybe. I don't know how long they are with that.
Okay. Let me see here. I'm just going to say you guys do the 4 days back to Illumina. If there's something you want to do on the way or something else you're wanting to do or someplace else you want to go, just let me know.
So
I want to go visit the jail where Terrence is being held.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm also doing
I'm going to give it a couple of rolls here. When you get back to Illumina, yeah, you can find Talus. He's not that difficult to find. I mean, he's not super easy to find, but you basically ask around, hey, where's the mushroom guy at? And you know, if you want to pay whoever's going to pay him 50 gold for a new rowboat.
I'll talk to him first.
The Hope will find out the one kid. His name was Lawrence. The judge did actually release Lawrence as long as he is working. He's basically sort of on parole, as long as he's working at Hope's place and checks in with the city guard like once a week or so, and pays back a total of 200 gold, which will take him a long time to pay back. He's good. As far as Terrence goes, you will find Terrence in the jail. He has just seen the judge this morning. He is not going to hang, but he has to do 30 days in the local jail. And then after that, he's basically going to become a slave of a logging company. And he has to work off 200 gold also. And he will literally he's basically being put into hard labor until he pays off that 200 gold.
probably a much harder work than what the other kid is.
Probably.
And more bad pay.
Well, unless you're paying exceptionally well, yeah. It's probably going to take this kid a few years at least to pay off this 200 gold. But at least he's not going to hang.
Sure.
Happy.
Kai,
What do you want?
Yeah, no, nothing. I have the +1 short bow.
Yes.
That's what it sounded like.
I thought you already told us.
That's why I had to use a bow.
And if
I kept the short sword.
Nothing from me.
Oh, you got 90 gold.
Yes. So heavy.
Oh, because you forgot about it. I'll remind you, you got a gold ring.
Is it magic?
No.
It
Not
was
now.
magic.
It had a spell in it at one time, but it's not magic now.
Can I figure out what spell was in it?
Are you a druid?
No.
Well, you can guess it was some kind of resurrection or reincarnation spell, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Something along those lines. Now, why it had to be you guys who killed him and all that kind of stuff, that's kind of for him to know, and why it had to be done the way it was, that kind of went to the grave with him.
Yeah, he didn't tell us about we need to kill both of him.
I just hope we don't come back as a fucking halfling lich. That would be funny.
Halfling
It probably would. Because I've not brought this character out, this NPC out in a long time. It probably would have made some sense if some people who knew him had actually been on the adventure. But since they weren't, his secrets go to the grave with him, however long he stays dead.
Oh, fuck.
If he
The
stays
only
dead.
thing I'm worried about. The only thing I'm worried about is if he was actually a druid and they are actually really pissed, like we pissed off a circle. The whole circle
well,
came up and they're like, why'd you kill him?
because he wanted us to.
Yeah, that's it. We saw a second halfling, we killed his ass.
I wanted to talk to him. You just like slice. That was funny as hell. That's almost as bad as me punching the kid.
I was a little worried about the kids. I thought you guys might like just start slaughtering teenagers left
No,
and right.
I mean,
I was like,
gonna
oh man,
kill
that
him.
would be bad.
I might smack him a bit, but I wasn't gonna kill no damn kid. Those damn loggers wanted to. They want to string his ass up. I was like, no, you gotta string him
yeah.
up for that shit. Make him pay it back or something. You know, sell him
Okay,
to
so
a
we're pretty
whorehouse.
much-
I don't know.
We're pretty much done. Is there anything else you guys want to do?
The only main thing is that when Terrence pays his dues, I want him to come find me.
Like 3 years from now?
Oh yeah.
Sure, whatever. Sure, whatever.
Need to keep the date. Figure out how many down days are going on.
He's like, I'll come find you. Make sure of that.
All right, 3 years from now, everybody hears this online. 3 years from now, if Darkwing Duck is still alive, Terrence the asshole kid is going to come find him.
Yep.
And pay him back his wampum.
And this kid's like done 3 years of logging work, so you've got like a strength and constitution of 20.
Yeah. He's like Conan, like, you know, smashing eggs with his hands and stuff.
Yes. The beefiest rogue anyone ever knew.
Yep, pretty much. The strongest first level rogue anyone's ever seen. Maybe by then he'd be up to second level. I don't know.
He's gonna be like Thulsa Doom. I gave you this, no, this passion.
But besides that, and just any character, besides just character development.
Yeah, maybe 3 years of hard. Oh, what if he is a rogue? He might slip away and escape. Then he could get away early. Come looking for Dirk.
Probably come looking for me since I beat
I
him
didn't
up.
say when.
Do what?
I didn't say when, so I just said come meet me when you're.
Oh, he's like, don't worry, we'll see each other again. Maybe I'll stop in and see good old mom
I'm
and
gonna slip
dad
him
before I
5
see
gold.
you. You slip him 5 gold? He's
Yeah.
like, what am I supposed to do with this? You know,
Yeah, when
it's
it
not like
comes.
they're going to let me go shopping or something.
This is
He's like, I don't have any place to put it. Oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll take it. I got a place I can put it.
You sure do, buddy. Lube it up.
Ooh, that one's got a rough edge.
They should be old coins. No.
He's young. He'll be popular in jail.
Yeah.
Hey, Frankie, look what just fell out of the kid.
Hey, they call him Gold Diver. Holy diver.
Okay. Well, we're pretty much done for the night then.
All right.
Thank you guys for being here. We did have a viewer for a while, so they're not here now, but they were here for a while. So thanks to them for watching.
They stopped watching when we started talking about holy divers. And stuff.
I didn't notice when they left, but
Oh.
they were there for a good while. So
How many was there?
Thank you guys. At one point there was 2.
this one.
I thought I saw 2 for a while, but for the most part it was 1.
Oh, that's cool.
But I may have been mistaken. Maybe it was just 1 the whole time. But
I know I keep interrupting you. Sorry. Go ahead and.
no, that's okay.
Good,
I was just going to say I will stop the broadcast.